Hello, everybody, and welcome to SAC Season 5 Finals. Very, very excited to get into this today. I'm Kater. I'm joined here today by Rissa.
Hello, everyone. I am super excited to be here. We were just talking about how, everyone in this tournament, you can tell they're really excited to be here. Everyone's online, ready to play. So, and speaking of ready to play, we're actually going to be hopping straight into the first match here on stream. It's going to be LYRE versus... Okay, just want to make sure I pronounce that right. How would you pronounce that, Kater?
I would pronounce it Axolt.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I do. If we're
Axolt.
Pronouncing it wrong, just let us know. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then this is going to be a best of 5. I believe all matches. Let me open up the bracket here. all matches throughout this tournament are going to be best of 5 in the winner's side, and then when we go down into the loser's side, they are best of 3. So, and all counter picks too. So anyone who's watching at home, these are all going to be counter picks, except for the first predetermined map and mode.
Right, so that first map and mode, winning that can give you a really good handle on how the rest of that's going to go, because if it does go down to a 2-2, it will mathematically be your pick for that counter pick. So winning this first match, it can be really, really important, especially if the set gets really close. Like you said, we'll be watching LYRE and Axolt for our first match up here, and thank you to both these teams for having their sendu.ink filled out so we can take a look at the members there. I know a fair bit about these teams. Of course, on LYRE we have Reno on those Galugas. Very excited to see that. We have brushes, we've got splatlings, we have rollers too, so, and they do have 5 members listed there, so depending on who's playing, we'll probably see a couple of different things. And then on the side of Axolt, we have your sloshers, somebody playing shooters, your Zap, your Junior. We also have, looks like an Anchor-based player. We have Charger, Splatling there. They've got Firefin listed, so that could definitely be of use here. And then we also have someone with Squeezer, Nozzle Nose, and Rapid, which is definitely an assortment of weapons, but a pretty good one at that.
I know, and looking at these teams, it's interesting. I can tell it's kind of like people in the community who are at this level, they all grouped up together to make these teams just specifically for SAC, so it's really cool to see them work together throughout this tournament and get this far in the tournament. I'm pretty familiar too with a couple members of each team. I mean, LYRE, I've seen Jacob, Geo, Zeal, and Kai, and then Axolt has quite a few members I've seen too. A couple members from Nawal, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, I believe on LYRE that's actually Eva now.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's take a look at what we got here. Of course, we do have Reno on the Glugas. We have the Flingza coming out as well from LYRE. That H3 is going to be pretty useful. And then Ping rounding that off with the Try. So you're going to have to watch your step on those ledges. Of course, that Try is going to be really dangerous. On the side of Axolt, we got the V-Jet. So that's going to be missiles, miss. Very, very useful mobile anchor weapon there. And then you have your classic Zap, the K-Machine, and the Splash. We got 2 members of Axolt going down right off the bat here. Eva here on the Flingza making a nice cleanup work, and that is a 3 down, the Jet being the only one left, and this Flingza gonna come here, clean that up very, very nicely, so that's a delayed wipe right there, and of course LYRE's immediately gonna take this zone, and then the paint that the Flingza put up there on that plat's gonna be really useful as they decide maybe to move up just a little bit more there.
I love that Eva pushed up a little bit, used that range of that Flingza to just push back members of Axolt, and then get jumps in too for their teammates. Now, Axolt here, it's their turn to push in and get the zone, but they do start pushing in and trying to cap the zone. Unfortunately, 3 members do go down on Axolt. That's a complete wipe now, so LYRE has no penalty points. They are counting down the points right now to just completely KO this.
Yeah, this is pretty much Axolt's last shot at going in. That Splash going down, though, that's a lot of area control that they're losing right now. The members are doing their best to go back in, but with 3 going down, that another complete wipe. Unfortunately, LYRE's just going to take that by storm. A very decisive first game there.
That was a very decisive first game, and there were little points where I thought Axolt was going to be able to get back in. You see, they waited till they had all 4 members to try and push back in when they started their one push there. But unfortunately, just the defense, unfortunately for Axolt, the defense from LYRE was just really insane, and they were doing a really good job at just playing, puppy guarding that zone and making sure they didn't go down.
Yeah, definitely. Although, like you said, waiting so that you have all your members waiting so that you don't get staggered on those respawns is really, really important. So good job to Axolt for waiting that out, being patient enough to do that. Like you said, I mean, they were getting there. They were able to break out, use those specials, get back into the zone, but unfortunately they did all just get picked off. So now, as you can see with the unknown mode, unknown stage, we'll be waiting for our counter pick, and the losing team will be counter picking, so we'll be waiting for that counter pick from Axolt.
And that first match that we got to see, I mean, Splat Zone's Inkbot's are really, really solid. I feel like neutral map and mode, and looks like the counter pick came in fast. We love to see a fast counterpick come in. So counterpick is going to be Splat Zones on Mako Mart. And I feel like that first map and match that we got to watch happened so fast that I wasn't really able to kind of figure out if there was any specific weapons or anything that really needed to be counterpicked. So maybe this is just a map and mode that this team is really confident on.
Yeah, I do know that Reno is really, really heavy on those Galugas. That's pretty much a specialty. So if you want to counterpick those, that's kind of a guaranteed that you can. But other than that, I mean, of course, you also have Ping on that try. Really dangerous. I've seen Ping before, always just leading the charge in with that weapon. And Splat Zones on Mako gonna lend itself to that try as well. I mean, Mako, Splat Zones, pretty much the bread and butter of the Splatoon 2 community. So both of these teams are going to have lots and lots of practice on this map.
And a lot of the weapons that we saw, I mean, all work really well. I mean, the Flingza, like you said, that Tri-Slosher. So many weapons I could see working out really well on this map and mode. And I'm hoping this match will be a lot closer so we can really see a lot of the weapons from both sides and both teams really shine through in this map.
All right, so we're going to have, I believe that is the same comp from LYRE, if I'm not mistaken. And then on Axolt, we have the Bamboo coming out, all MPU, as you can see, as well as that K-Gal. So K-Gal gonna put down a good amount of turf there, gonna put down, of course, that the power from the shots as well. Even there in the Flingza with the early missiles, and then gonna go in. And we just have, of course, the fight for the zone. A couple of picks. That zone's gonna go to Axolt first, though, but Eva coming in with a really nice picks from the Flingza, and so that's very quickly going to give up the zone, give it to LYRE, and now they're going to face down the Bamboo.
Yeah, that Bamboo backing up on the left side of the map there. You can see Eva was able to notice that they were over there, but the Bamboo still on that back left side. There's that Bamboo. We get to see from their point of view. They're just guarding this back right area of the map, and Z just lasering down that Bamboo with that H3. Now Axolt is in a position where they have to figure out how to get back into the zone once again and figure out what they need to do to cap the zone. At least cap the zone and give LYRE those penalty points.
Yeah, popping that armor, and they're gonna go try and go now. You can see they are all up. We have a couple more specials, such as that Booyah, that splashdown. The baller here, oh no, gonna bop them off the stage. So Reno gets a little bit of a nice moment there, and we have another pick coming out from them. So it's almost similar to the match before, where we have another few picks, and that timer is just relentlessly ticking down. Reno here, dodge rolls, going to very narrowly avoid Aizen on the K-Machine, but that splashdown unfortunately gets canceled. It's just a little bit too late.
Once again, LYRE just doing a really, really solid job on this second map match that we got to watch here on stream. And I mean, they it seems like at least Splat Zones that we've got to watch, LYRE has just, they have this game plan. They know exactly when they need to push up or just sit in positions and puppy guard the zone, and they are doing a really, really good job at that. So once again, since LYRE won that second match, that means that Axolt will have the counterpick again for the third map. And I'm wondering, you know, maybe Splat Zones might not be it. Maybe that's just something they're comfortable on. So we'll have to see what that counterpick is coming in.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, LYRE obviously very comfortable on zones and those maps. They're playing really well off of each other and holding out that defense. Even when, you know, all the strategies that Axolt puts into play, you see they waited again till they were all up. They had specials to go in with. They had the armor as well, but I think the combination of just the unfortunate knockback from the baller and just the execution of the rest of the picks prevented Axolt from going back in. So maybe a different mode is the choice here. Hopefully that counterpick will come in pretty quickly, because, you know, as you said, these teams are prepped, they're ready, they're excited to be here. So usually, I mean, they know their way around these tournaments by now.
Ooh, and counterpick does come in for game 3. So Axolt has actually switched over the mode like we were talking about. Gonna be tower control this time, going to Anchovy Games, and I think this is a really smart idea. LYRE has just been really, really good on both the zones maps we've got to see so far. So I think this is a good strategy for Axolt to pull out for this and switch up the mode. Maybe this will switch up LYRE's strategy going into this.
Yeah. It's a little bit easier to stall that objective in tower control, maybe even just throwing a Booyah Bomb at it, just throwing something, getting people off the tower for a few seconds, gives them a little bit more time to regroup to get back in, because remember, with Splat Zones, that timer's just relentlessly ticking down if you don't have any penalty points. So hopefully with tower control, that gives them a little bit more room, time to breathe, time to get themselves back together, should they find themselves in a similar situation. All right. Ooh, we have the Octobrush coming out from Ping on the side of LYRE, and we have the K Gluglas instead this time, so that's going to be, those Fizzy is going to be really, really interesting there. And then on the other side, we are keeping that K Machine, keeping the Zap. We have K-Shot and Knot now. So the power from that Knot, and the Inkjet too, we might see some funny Inkjet plays as you can do here on Anchovy.
Yeah, Anchovy definitely known for those silly Inkjet plays. And I think it's really interesting, LYRE coming out this time with double armor, so they're really going to be trying to support that Inkjet, as we see Ping here in an Inkjet right now, just putting pressure on this top left area. Now the tower at the first checkpoint for LYRE. Each team does have one member down, but now with LYRE getting past that first checkpoint, let's see if the defense from Axolt can be what they need it to.
Yeah, I mean, you saw, just because that double armor was going to be really helpful, even though the Zap did go down on the side there, Reno was still able to pop the armor that they had. We have the Zap lying in wait here, almost to that armor. Axolt's in a little bit of a better position right now. That tower hasn't reached that second checkpoint yet, so 60's not so bad of a position to be in. They just need to get back into mid, need to lay down their position again. The Knot here against the Octobrush, not quite getting it, unfortunately. Ping does go down, but takes another with him, I believe, and Eva there to do the cleanup work. So that leaves the K-Machine, the only one alive. They are in mid, but they're going to have to back out. I don't know if they can get out of this, unfortunately. They do manage to sidestep. I believe those were the Glugos. I'm not completely sure. And now they're back with their team. The Octobrush going down is valuable. They don't have to worry about that Inkjet immediately, and hopefully they can play off this pick to get a couple of more and make their way back into mid.
With Aizen unfortunately going down, I love that Axolt here, even though they do have one member down, they still were able to safely push up and get control of their street. Now, with 4 members up, they are going to go ahead and use armor and use that Inkjet together. Very, very good pairing of specials.
Ooh, nice.
That Inkjet gets a really, really nice pick on Reno, as that Gluga has been quite a factor in keeping them back from getting into mid. And now this is exactly what Axolt has been needing. With 3 members down of LYRE, they are able to get the tower up to the first checkpoint and start trying to get points on the board on their side.
Yeah, that 3 down was very, very valuable, and like you said, gave them the window that they needed. Unfortunately, they are going to go 2 down, though the Zap is forced to back off. They do have the armor, so they're likely going to... Oh, I was going to say they were going to wait until they could come back with their teammates, but the Flingza just knows their range, knows their fall off. I mean, you've been seeing them get really, really nice picks throughout this set so far. And again, we have all of these specials coming out from LYRE. We have the armor, and those missiles are at the ready as well. Ping with another Inkjet. There are the missiles. There's the armor again. Ping with another pick, unfortunately going down, but you can see that tower is marching on. Aizen there with a very nice direct, going in for another pick as well. That splashdown could have been really good. Unfortunately, they do get canceled. Tower gets stopped at 38, but it did make it through that checkpoint, and LYRE still has a presence around it.
Yeah, I love that Zeal there. Zeal there tried to back up a little bit, tried to keep control of mid and let their teammates jump in, but they did go down, unfortunately. But that little area where Zeal was there, it stalled it out a little bit more, made it time for LYRE to be able to push up into their street and already start pushing into mid. Now, specials coming out from the side of Axolt is actually completely pushing back LYRE right now.
Ooh, nice.
Rot there getting a really nice pick with that Inkjet, and now this is what Axolt needed. They are pushing up, they are getting control of the other team's street, and they are working to get past this first checkpoint.
Yeah, they're pushing the towers a little bit behind them, still coming up out of that first checkpoint, but hopefully they can keep this momentum going. We have the missiles as well. K-Machine does go down, unfortunately, and we have Ping on this Octobrush, just waiting for the moment to strike. Does get the pick on the Zap, too. Going for another. Gets the Knot, too, so that is going to be really detrimental to the momentum of Axolt. Aizen has made their way back, though, has teammates jumping to them, so they can still maintain this presence around the tower, but Axolt is running out of time with only about 35 seconds seconds left. We have the jumps in though. They haven't been forced out of mid yet. They still have a good presence, and they are forcing members from LYRE back as well. So with their presence around the tower, hopefully they can continue the momentum of the push that they had before.
I love you can tell Eva there just knows there's only about 10 seconds left of this match. I just need to paint and get missiles ready. With one member down of LYRE,
Nice.
2 members down now. This might be the opening that Axolt needed as they are getting points down on the board right now. Just 10 points needed to be able to take the lead. It's only Nero up for Axolt, and unfortunately Nero does go down too. The points were so close there, but LYRE was on top of their defense there right at the end, able to take that game 3 and be moving on through the winner's side of the bracket.
Yeah, we all know how the Octoverse hitboxes are sometimes, and Ping was just able to come in and get the cleanup needed at just the right moment. But like you said, that was really close. They were just a few points away from getting the lead there, and or at least definitely forcing, having that last minute push, that last minute overtime push. Things can get really scrappy, but they did a really good job of getting themselves together and making one last go for it.
So now this tournament, in particular for top 8, is it does go to a loser side of the bracket. So Axolt is not out of the tournament yet. They will be moving down into the loser side of the bracket. And then let me refresh the bracket here. So with LYRE moving on through the winner side of the bracket. The other matches, so right now, for anyone who's watching this, Synergy is versus Helixio right now, and they are at 1-1. And then Farto versus Unlimited Woomy United is up 1-0 Farto. And then 64 and Cascade Duck Crew are versus each other, and Cascade Duck Crew is up 1-0 right now.
Yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of those teams later on as we continue to stream through this bracket. Right now, we'll take a short break. We'll wait for those sets to finish, and we'll be right back at you guys with round 2 in just a few moments, so stay tuned. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to SAC Finals for Season 5. We are back with round 2 of winners. And if you're just joining us, I'm Kater, and I'm joined here today by Rissa.
And we are actually, looking at these two teams that we're going to be seeing next, Farto versus Cascade Duck Crew. Both of these teams have moved on to the second round of the bracket, and both have 3-0'd the teams that they had fought in the last round of the bracket. So I think that in itself makes this match a little bit more exciting, just seeing how close these teams are in terms of being able to just 3-0 the first teams they face. We are moving on into the first game of the bracket, or into the first game of this round. Splatzone's on Piranha Pit.
Yes, very, very quickly, alright. So you can see what it looks like from Farto. We've got K-Pro, we got the K-Pro and the 96 Gal, so you're gonna have to watch the combos from that. And then we have the Zap and the Shot. Gonna put down a lot of paint there. Missiles from the Shot could be pretty useful. On the side of Cascade Duck Crew, we also have the Shot. We have the Squeezer, so those bubbles are gonna be very useful. And ooh, we also have a Wipe on the side of Farto. So very quickly, Cascade Duck Crew also has the Slosher, so gonna be very useful for those ledges there. As you can see that they're using that right now. They're going to very quickly take over those two zones, and now we just have they're gonna try and set up this lockout, gonna get that defense going, just like we've been seeing on those previous Splat Zones matches we saw last set. But Farto's very quickly going to come in, do their best. We have the Booyah Bomb coming out, and they are able to take out the Junior, so that does mean no armor for Cascade Duck Crew right now, but Cascade Duck Crew is going to go back, get control of that zone, so no penalty points despite the use of those specials. And unfortunately now with the Caper and the Zap down, Farto's going to have to wait a little bit longer to attempt another retake.
Cascade Duck Crew, they had one member down, but the three members that were up did such a good job at holding the zone. They are not letting Farto move in right now. You can see April here tries to get that armor off, and that allows their teammates to push in a little bit more. With two members down right now of Cascade Duck Crew, this is the moment that Farto needs to be able to at least come in and paint the zone. You can see Jess and April here doing everything they can to just stall out this left zone, and then Jess using this Booyah Bomb to help cap the right zone. Now Farto is in the game. They have points on the board. They were able to give those 64 penalty points over to Cascade Duck Crew. So now the tables have turned, and Farto is the team that is guarding the zone right now.
The tables have turned indeed. We have those missiles gonna come out, or maybe not yet because that Slosher is down, so Cascade Duck Crew's gonna have to sit back just a little bit while they wait for that last member to respawn, but they have all those specials. There's one missile's going out, there's the armor going out. Squeezer's looking for a place to pop those bubbles. They are in a little bit of danger now though, so they'll probably try and use those for this second zone here. Very nice, and there we go. Gets 2 kills off of that, actually very, very, very nice there. So good bubble placement, and that was momentarily a 3 down also on the side of Farto there, so Cascade Duck Crew gonna have to work through this penalty now, so not as bad of a position for Farto to be in as it could be, but you do see the Squeezer going down as well. We have the armor coming out, so very, very quickly they're gonna use all of this to try and push back in. Does get control of the one zone over there. He has to watch for the Slosher though, and we all know how that fall off is. We have specials coming out from both teams. Armor not quite enough to protect that Slosher from the Booyah Bomb, unfortunately. Still fighting over this zone. That back zone is getting protected very nicely.
Yeah, both teams right now are guarding their respective zone as much as they possibly can. With only 21 penalty points, Cascade Duck Crew, though, is doing a really, really excellent job at really guarding their zone and now making sure they are capping both zones. They only have about 11 penalty points right now, and with one member down, they have to play this really carefully and see if they either just need to give up the zone completely or just see what they can do to completely try and KO this.
April with the armor almost, but going down is going to be really unfortunate. I think that just... oh yeah, I was gonna say, you could see them trying to go for that armor, painting the bottom portion of the map there, and had they have gotten it probably would have given their team a little bit more of a boost, possibly the boost they could have needed to come back and take that last minute. Unfortunately, it just did not work out for them. So we will see that go to Cascade Duck Crew for the first match, though definitely Farto able to come back in a couple of times, so we did see really nice plays from both of those teams.
Both teams did play that really nicely when they were able to take the zone for themselves. Cascade Duck Crew just had that little bit of advantage when it came to their defense. I mean, even if they had one member go down, they did a really good job at not pushing in and knowing that they needed to wait for their other teammate to come back in. And then also it felt like they played off, you know, recognizing when the other team had specials really well and making sure they just played around that. The counter pick coming in pretty fast here, actually, from Farto is going to be tower control on Inkblot Art Academy.
Yeah, you love to see it. Timely counter picks are always great. So we're going to switch with the mode pretty quickly on this one. We're going to Inkblot. So this one, of course, you don't have the big tower in the center for tower control because the actual tower is there instead. Do wonder if we'll see that slosher come back, because you can definitely use it to reach a whole lot of plat with the slightly longer range than your tri-slosher. So that could definitely be super useful here. I do also wonder if we'll see that gal come back. We'll just have to see.
So weapons coming out here. We are seeing Cobb back on that slosher. And then looks like we get to see actually a Nautilus from Knives. And then on the other side, April actually switching from that gal to the custom jet squelcher.
That's a fair pick. Yeah, that Stingray, you're gonna have a lot of him. Oh, very quickly off the bat. There's one pick that was a quick assist. Ooh. Oh, you love to see it. I was gonna say, that was a really nice opportunity that someone saw on the side of Cascade Duck Crew. Don't quite know who it was, but protecting your anchor, always a really good thing. I mean, as somebody who's been on the anchor receiving side of that jump far too many times, it's very, very much appreciated when your teammates come to your rescue. Farto's using this opportunity, though. Has the Stingray, has the Booyah Bomb, throwing everything out right now. Cobb doing their very best, unfortunately just not quite able to pull that off. Jess does get picked off though, but the Zap here on Cascade Duck Crew being the only one alive right now, they're gonna wait for their teammates so they can pop this armor and all go in at once onto the tower. I mean, that first checkpoint going down isn't too much of a worry right now, because that's generally gonna happen in your pushes, but we have all of these specials coming out from Farto now. Very nice. We have the Inkjet, we have the armor as well, and Knives there on the Nautilus, just not quite able to get the picks that they're looking for. We do have a couple down on both sides, Slosher down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew, and the Zap still down on the side of Farto now, but that push has stalled and the tower goes back to mid.
Yeah, there was a lot going on back and forth there from both sides. Both teams had members going in getting picks, members going down, and now through all of that, the tower is back in neutral and back into mid right now. You can see Egret here tries to use their armor to help their teammates maybe get a push going, and it looks like that actually works out really well for them, because there's 3 members down right now on the side of Farto. April there forced to jump back and try and maybe get a Stingray ready for their team. Looks like they get that Stingray ready, and they are going to use it to help their teammates in the bats area. Really, really good use of that Stingray.
Nice.
And that paired with their teammates able to push through that Stingray and get 3 members down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew.
Yeah, those Stingray assists it's just amazing to see. 3 of them really good, even though they weren't picks themselves. You can see because the Stingray, it's difficult to get picks on its own, but you pair it with the damage of your teammates, and it's just a damage source that that the opponent can't eliminate, and it gets really, really useful. So you have another assist, you have that Inkjet pick as well. That's another 3 down. The Nautilus, the only one. Oh, and they go down as well with that Inkjet. So unfortunately, they're not going to have that when they respawn. That could be a really useful tool if they're able to get that pretty quickly, though. And you can see how much control Farto has. All of that plat, this upper area as well. Cobb's going to go in and try and take this area back, but the Booyah Bomb pop's going to put him in a really bad position. They're going to go attack the Stingray instead. Gets the pick, but not before they get taken out by the Inkjet. So that tower is at 17 remaining. That T-Tech now the only one alive, so you can see everybody's going to jump camp them. All the way to 17 is a very good push, though, and that is a high bar for Cascade Duck Crew to overcome.
Ooh, and unfortunately, it looks like the Nautilus actually DC'd. And I think, I could be wrong here, but I think it's probably well past the points remaining to be able to replay that, unfortunately for Cascade Duck Crew.
Yeah, that is just heartbreaking, unfortunately. I mean, with the way they've been playing, I would say that a comeback's definitely possible, but losing their Nautilus, losing their longest range weapon is just going to be really, really unfortunate. You see, I mean, that 3 down there is going to turn it into a wipe, and Having a game end like this, I mean, even though we have the whole minute and 10 or so seconds left, it's just really unfortunate because you only have 4 people on your team. You know, you lose 1/4 of your team, you lose something really integral that you're going to be playing off of. We have the Inkjet coming out here. We also have Jess doing a little bit of camping. It does work out, or sharking, excuse me, does work out. They unfortunately do not get out alive, do get punished for their sharking crimes. We have Cobb trying to get a little bit of a fall-off pick, does not quite work out for them. And that tower is slowly making its way back to mid.
Man, this is so unfortunate for Cascade Duck Crew. They definitely had signs of having momentum to be able to figure out what they needed to do against Farto here. So, the tower just kind of sitting in mid. You can see that, I mean, Farto right now just knows that they have a crazy lead right now, and they just need to paint mid and make sure they play defense on it. And you can see they're just painting everything that way that Cascade Duck Crew cannot get to the tower at all. And with 10 seconds remaining of this match, I'm pretty sure that's going to be game.
Yeah, I mean, if the enemy team doesn't have turf, they can't use it, they can't get back in. Egret gonna make a last-ditch dive for that tower, makes it to the tower, unfortunately, gets killed on their way up, so does not work out for them. Very unfortunate end to the match there.
So with Cascade Duck Crew losing this actually ties up. Ooh, and look at those KAs there. Farto, just everyone on their team getting crazy KAs. But with Farto winning this one, that means that the score is actually tied 1-1, and it's going to be Cascade Duck Crew's turn for a counter pick.
Yeah, they did look really good, so especially in that first game. So I do hope they figure out. Maybe I hope it's just a one-time thing, or because I don't, or maybe they can sub somebody in. Just I really hope that gets resolved quickly. I don't want it to become a recurring issue. It's just really unfortunate. Sometimes the internet just says no. It's difficult. So hopefully that does get sorted out, and we are going to be waiting for the counter pick. Like you said, it is Cascade Duck Crew's. So that does give them a little bit more of a handle on the match, and now they know a little bit about how we play across, about how they play across modes. So I mean, we've seen zones, we've seen tower. We might go to somewhere else, and there it is. We're gonna be going to Clam Blitz on the Reef. Oh boy.
Ooh, and this is the first time we've got to see Clam Blitz so far today on stream. So this is going to be interesting. I like this, and especially since Cascade Duck Crew picked this, I feel like Cascade Duck Crew has been playing, you know, pretty aggressively. I mean, Cobb on that slosher, like you've mentioned before, Cater, they play like really, really good under ledges, and I think this one is a really, really good example of how they can use that slosher to play under ledges and on flanks. So I think this is a good counter pick for Cascade Duck Crew, definitely.
Yeah, I got a heck of a lot of ledges here. And of course, you don't follow necessarily a specified path that you do with a tower. You don't. It's a little bit more mobile. You have to be able to go up to the basket. You have to be able to retreat when you need. So I think the sheer mobility that we've been seeing out of both of these teams actually is going to really come into play here. Clam Blitz. I mean, I always really enjoy watching high-level clams just because of that mobility of how fast things can turn around.
Yeah, clams. It's almost like Rainmaker in a way, where all of a sudden it can just change in an instant, and the lead can just easily swap around. And then especially, yeah, like you said on Clam Blitz on the Reef, in particular, there's no set path, and this one is just really chaotic because there's multiple paths you can take to get to the basket. There's the behind flank, there's straight ahead in the street area, you can come through the lamp underneath the bridge. And if you play this well, I mean, it can go really, really fast. Or it can be really difficult, too, since there's just so many avenues to take.
Definitely. I mean, you can definitely defend that. Ooh! I was going to say you could defend that clam basket. I just like the appearance of the soda slosher there. Those bursts. Yeah, I get distracted by bright colors, but that burst bomb rush going to be able to take a lot of control there. You can do a lot with the burst bomb slosh combo as well, so that can be really valuable there. We also have the 96 Gal Deco now. Is that wall and splashdown, if I'm not mistaken, hopefully. So they're not giving up the armor. They do have the zap for that, but that wall is probably going to be really... I mean, you can see it already being used there. The wall can block off a lot of different avenues there. We have a few members going down pretty early on. Of course, in clams, you don't immediately see pushes just because people have to gather everything, but you can definitely still see how teams are going about this. We have pretty much all of Farto on the bridge right now, meaning they're pretty grouped together. Cascade Duck Crew are going to take that opportunity and fire off missiles, always something you see. And bridge control is going to be really important in this game, just as it's such an easy avenue to connect the two halves of the map. We have the Inkjet going down, we have two going down, we have another going down. The Squeezer disconnects. Ooh, I'm pretty sure that qualifies for a replay. We're not past halftime. No scores, I think. I will admit I have not done my homework. I have not read the DC rules, unfortunately, but it does look like I believe that will qualify. So I think we're just going to see a quick KO here, hopefully, and we'll bring that back. It is on Cascade Duck Crew. I don't know if it's the same person. I don't know if it's the same person that disconnected last game.
Yeah. It looks like, I think it is, unfortunately. So this is probably... I did not do my homework either, but usually there's only one replay that's allowed, so this might be their one replay.
Yeah. The wonderful TOs have spoken into my ear and said that yes, they will be replaying this match, so... We did get to see the openings, we did get to see a lot of people go down, a lot of things happen. So that match, it was looking out to be pretty chaotic. Hopefully, again, that those... I do hope that those internet issues are resolved.
Me too. Especially since these two teams, the scores... Well, unfortunately, the second game was... there was a DC too, but these teams have felt really evenly matched, and I feel like this could go either way. So I really hope that the DC issues get worked out, internet issues get worked out, because this has the potential to be a really close set. And I felt like the beginning of that set that we got to watch, or that game we just got to watch, Clam Blitz on the Reef, was really chaotic, and both teams are just pushing at each other, trying to poke at each other, and no one really getting the upper hand right away.
Yeah, sometimes you see really big openings in clams, but usually that's how that turns out, and then you start, going down, it's boiling down to the 1v1s, the 2v1s, and once you get those picks, you start going in. I think we did see also a formation of a power clam, like, right before that DC, so we might have seen a push or something like that. I don't know. I can speculate all I want, but I do hope that we see the member join in, or we see a sub out or something like that.
Yeah.
Alright, looks like that member is resetting their switch, so hopefully it's just a funny switch thing and their internet will hold up.
I was looking at the teams for top 8 of this tournament, and I think it's really interesting. It doesn't really seem like there's one team in particular that really, was winning every single tournament. There's just a really good mix of teams that have grinded their way to get the points to get into top 8. So I think it seems like it's really fair. Some teams have got first, some teams have gotten thirds, a mix of everything all in between this top 8. So I think just looking at this top 8, I think seems really interesting. And I think these two teams in particular, they seem so close, and one team or the other wasn't necessarily dominating. So, I'm so excited to see who's going to win this.
Absolutely. Already we saw Cascade Duck Crew having really good moments on that first match, Farto having really good moments in that second match, even with that massive push, even before we unfortunately had to end with the DC. So, like you said, these teams, both of them have really good things, both of them pretty evenly matched. So we'll be going back into the same map mode. That member is back. Hopefully we'll, fingers crossed, we will not be seeing any more DCs. We're gonna go at it again. I also didn't get to comment on the T-Tech again, but we'll be seeing those Inkjets come out, so those are gonna be really useful as well. We've been seeing the Inkjet plays already, so those are gonna be pretty cool.
Alright, so starting out here, Cobb here trying to take over this right tree. Their teammate does try and come and help them, but with Jess here on that K-Pro, just able to utilize that range that they have on that K-Pro.
Nice.
Gets a pick along with guarding that right tree. Really, really good job. Gets another pick onto Koji and also gets a power clam. So, hey, Jess said, I'm going to play objective and get the picks while I'm at it. I love this. Now Farto able to take control of this bridge area. Q here trying to do everything they can to just guard it with their teammates. Does go down, unfortunately, and now this is kind of leading to what we saw previously. Both teams trying to just fight for bridge and see who can really get the upper hand.
Yeah, this bridge here, it's just very important. We're gonna see a super jump. So I believe they're jumping in, splashdown. I think they jumped into a splashdown. They do get that in. We see both the bubbles and the missiles come out. Nice bubble placement underneath. But we have members up there, and the Slosher Cobb here, only one alive. That is a full wipe now. So I mean, we just have all of these clans are gonna continue to go in, and they're still underneath there too. So we have all the way down to 47 now. April's back there fighting. Unfortunately, they do go down. We have the Booyah Bomb come in. We have the Inkjet come in as well. Nice direct right there. And still the members of Farto are bringing in even more clams. They are going down, but they're not all going down at once. And so they still have those jumps coming in. They still have that presence all the way down to 11 to 8 to 5 remaining. I mean, I don't know how they're constantly getting... Oh no, the squeezer disconnect.
Oh, the squeezer disconnect. I think it was right in the middle of when that push was happening. And unfortunately, since they did do their one replay, I believe that they will not be able to replay once again. So they are going to have to go ahead and try and fight this 1v3. And with only Cobb up, looks like Cobb does a really good job on getting that pick onto Q and is going to try and guard the bridge as best they can. But April coming up with their teammate is just going to get the upper hand on that.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about the role that the squeezer could have possibly played in this, because we did see the placement of the bubbles underneath. Foil squeezer, of course, with those bubbles, the range, the splat bomb as well. It's a really, really nice kit for both defense and offense, so it's very, very unfortunate that they disconnected. It just hurts to watch. I mean, of course, we have Farto still delivering on their offense, as we've seen before. We have the Power Clam coming in. Sleepy gonna get that pick. We have the Inkjet. We have the armor as well. All of that gonna go in. And even so, it still takes a little while for them to have the opportunity to get that in. And then there's all the clams gonna go in and eliminate that penalty point. We have somebody coming in with 4 more clams, I believe. Yeah, there it is.
There it is, and Farto taking this game 3. Unfortunately, Cascade Duck Crew having another DC, and with them already using their replay, they had to actually go ahead and just try and play that out.
Yeah, and a very unfortunate time to DC as well. They do have 5 members listed on their roster. I don't know if they have all 5 present today. Oh, they are getting a sub, so we might have to wait a little bit. But hopefully it will be the end of the DC issues.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate too. I mean, that player, Knives, was a really, really crucial part in their aggression that they had playing previously Nautilus and then being able to play Squeezer. Both really, really crucial, aggressive weapons that help pair with maybe shorter range, like Cobb on that Slosher. So definitely really unfortunate for them getting this far through SAC and having those DC issues, but I'm glad that they're able to at least get a sub and try and play this out as best they can.
Yeah, I hope it turns out well for them. Sometimes working with a sub can be really difficult. Sometimes you click really well. It's just kind of the part, because, I mean, like you said, some of these teams have formed for SAC, some of them have been together, but when you play together, you build that synergy and you get those plays. So just having like 4 or 5 or 6 people that all really know each other, really mesh really well, is crucial to a team's performance. So bringing in a sub can make that a little bit more difficult. Now, no harm to the sub, and players that, I mean, I've seen some players maybe in low ink or other tournaments, they sub time and time again, and they do a really good job of it as well. So subs are important as well. Feeling, the need sometimes just comes up when your internet decides to knock itself out for the day or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes that really happens, and you just have to...
Oh, okay. So not a sub, they're 5th.
Ah, okay. Perfect.
So that's good. Yes. So the 5th is incoming. So that should hopefully work out a little bit better for them. We'll see.
And then while we are waiting for the 5th member of Cascade Duck Crew to come in as well, We did get the counter pick coming in from Cascade Duck Crew. So since they lost the last match on stream, they did get to counter pick. And their counter pick for Game 4 is Tower Control on Anchovy Games. We will be heading back to this. We saw it on the previous set that we got to watch on stream here. And now, so if Cascade Duck Crew does win this counter pick, then we will be moving on to a Game 5. But if Farto wins this, then Farto will take the set and we would be moving on. Farto would be moving on to the winner's side of the bracket.
Yeah. Speaking of bracket, we can take a look at the overall... Oh, I was going to say we could look at more other matches, but I guess not, because we're going to hop right into this tower control match. We do have the fifth member there. Uton's going to be on the K-shot there. So we have April back on that C-Jet, and then we also have Jess on the K-Pro, Tried and True, and Q on that T-Tech with the Zap to round it all off. We do have the Squeezer coming back, so not Knives on the Squeezer, someone else there. That's hopefully, though, it's nice to have that flexibility. You can bring in the same comps that you've practiced, maybe just with a slightly different person playing it, but of course they could play it differently too. I love seeing that kind of flexibility in teams, or seeing them play off of different people's skills like that. And Cascade Duck Crew is doing well, going to quickly take control of mid and get that tower, bringing it to the first checkpoint. You can see Uton there already up on plat, while Egret does chill out on that tower. They have a little bit more control of that street there. The missiles are going to come out. Squeezer's coming in from the side here with those bubbles. Nice pick coming out there. And all of the turf that they put down too is really going to be useful. They are just going for it right now. 2 down on the side of Farto. They keep getting these picks, and it's really, really important. They get past that second checkpoint all the way to 27 now. Booyah Bomb's going to go directly for the tower from Jess there. Squeezer is also down, but the shot's also down. Egret goes down as well. Cobb 2, that is a full wipe. Push is going to stop there, but 24 is a great opening push.
What a great opening push from Cascade Duck Crew. Now it's going to be Farto's turn to paint up the map, get their specials ready, and get in a position to get a push going. You can see they're doing a really good job at already painting the map and pushing up all the way into the other team's street. Just have to play it really careful and make sure that they don't push up too far and go down. I love that Jess recognized that, backed up a little bit, went to go actually watch this flank area, and we're getting to see 2 specials come out from the side of Farto, that Inkjet, Booyah Bomb, and actually the Stingray as well, so saving that armor maybe to use past this second checkpoint.
Yeah, we do. I believe we do have a bomb pick on Egret there. We have lots and lots of picks. Farter is going to go completely down though at that for a little bit after that first checkpoint. Gonna get to 60, so they don't have to worry about that checkpoint the next time to decide to push up. We're almost halfway through this game. We're getting there. And we do have a lot of control from Cascade Duck Crew right now. I mean, so much of this map that they have under their control, mid as well as the street that they need. So we have the Stingray coming out on that tower, does get the pick on Egret. Unfortunately, the missiles to respond to that. But Sleepy does go down, and I believe the K-Pro's going down too, as well as the C-Jet. Very nicely timed there. I mean, you can see Cobb using the range to their full advantage. Unfortunately, going down to a bomb. We also have the Inkjet ready from the T-Tech here, so probably once they get that armor, once the tower comes around closer, they'll be popping that. We have the missiles coming out, and Cascade Duck Crew is making their way up to street.
Cascade Duck Crew is just doing such a good job at controlling this mid area.
Sleepy.
But Sleepy said, you know what? I am going to take over this mid. Thank you. Sleepy just pushing in this left flank there with the ends up. Gets 3 members down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew. What a great opening for Sleepy to have for their teammates. Now is going to use armor to just continue this momentum. Jess here using this Booyah Bomb as well. The momentum right now that Farto has is really, really good. Let's see if they can get past this second checkpoint. Unfortunately, with 2 members down, it doesn't look like they will be able to.
Yeah, that was a Twitter clip moment for Sleepy right there. Incredible play, like you said, from that left flank going in. Really, really nice, but Koji here gonna come and take that down with the Squeezer. We saw 1 bubble pick, a main weapon pick as well, so very, very nicely recognizing momentum, sidestepping it, and putting a stop to it. So great plays on both sides right now. We're moving into almost the last minute of our match right now. Still 52-24. That 24 lead is holding up very, very nicely, but I mean, we've seen the kind of plays that Farto can pull off in tower control. We saw that in that second match here. April doing what they can. Oh, the curve slash from Cobb. So, so, so nice. They are just chilling out up here. Yeah, and I think they're just gonna have a hold of this fan. They're gonna use it to come back around and meet up with the rest of their, not meet up with the rest of their team, but do a little bit of distracting. They're gonna jump out as to avoid dying there. So we have the tower coming back from mid, passes its neutral point, and it's now the Farto is going to try and make this a push. We have the Stingray coming out, not quite finding its pick, but does force a jump out, which is almost equally as good. And they are slowly getting to the point where they're going to start putting some more points on the board. So it's now a clash of defense versus offense. Q here on the Inkjet trying to find something, doesn't quite get it though. But we have the Booyah Bomb coming out as well, and those points are going to start being put on the board. We might see an overtime forced here, depends on how this goes. Jess gonna get taken out, Koji gonna get taken out. We have 2 down on both sides right now. Sleepy's gonna hop on that tower, force overtime. We have Cobb here on the Slodger, does get the pick! Ooh.
Oh, Cobb and Egret there just collapsed on the tower at the perfect moment there to just play that defense so nicely. Now, this game 4 going to Cascade Duck Crew, I'm really happy that they were able to get it together with their 5th teammate and able to just take this game and be able to take the set all the way to game 5.
Yeah, those KAs, they were up there. Like, these DCs did not slow down their momentum at all. I mean, that massive opening push and then being able to hold off Farto, all of that. I mean, Farto, of course, we saw the overtime getting forced, but like you said, the 2v1 on that tower there at just the right moment, collapsing in. I love that. So, like you said, we're taking it to a game 5. This is going to be the counterpick of Farto, so that might play a little bit into their hand. We will have to see how that counterpick does play out.
Ooh, and that was, I mean, Cascade Duck Crew, that was a really good counterpick for them too. I wonder if, previously they're just really comfortable on it. They know what their game plan is. And I really love that you highlighted that Koji actually switched over to the Squeezer instead of it being Knives playing the Squeezer. So they're just really confident in that specific comp that they run on that map, maybe.
Wow.
Actually, game 5 counterpick coming in here is going to be Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park.
Well, bring out your Tri-Sloshers and your Sea Jets, we are here. So, I mean, what else can I say? Kaba, we've been seeing that Slosher come out, so would be surprised to see it go away here. I mean, it's been working out for them on other maps, and it will probably work out here too. If somebody has, like I said, I mean, I got a Pocket Tri-Slosher, you can definitely bring it out here. I believe I'm expecting to see the Sea Jets stay or the Sea Jets come out as well, just because the way this is laid out, that Stingray can be really useful.
I'm really interested too, like you highlighted, this is definitely a Sea Jet heavy map. And with Farto having April, who has been doing a really good job playing Sea Jet previously in these matches that we've got to watch, Cascade Duck Crew actually doesn't have a typical quote-unquote anchor or backline type player. So I wonder if maybe they have someone who does switch to a Stingray weapon, or maybe they're just going to go without it and play double missiles and just go without it, since they are comfortable playing without a Stingray weapon typically that we've seen.
Yeah, I'd be curious actually to see if that Squeezer comes back, just because we've been seeing it, and I'm pretty much all of the matches previously, and it seems to be a pretty integral part of their comp. Plus, those bubbles can be really useful, and that range is great too. So we will be seeing that Squeezer come out, the Sloshers as well, and as expected, we've got the CJs, we've got the T-Tech, so it looks like that's the same comp that Farto's been playing. I don't think we've had switches on either side. Maybe Zatfor Jr. if I don't recall correctly, but we're going to have, of course, April go for that Stingray pretty much right off the bat, and Sleepy pick up that Rainmaker. So they have their game plan, they know how this opening works out for them. We have the missiles forcing them to retreat a little bit, that timer's ticking down very quickly. Sleepy stuck between a rock and a hard place, the suction bomb behind them, unfortunately not letting them escape. So they do get a couple of points on the board, but probably not as many as they would have liked. Cobb in a little bit of a tricky position, does manage to get out of it. They have the armor as well. That's going to be super useful for them. That Rainmaker does get picked up and is taken out. You can see the bubbles there, really useful. They are going for it. They have the Stingray Jessica able to go in, get that pick as well. But we have 3 down on the side of Farto, so that Rainmaker is going to be very open. They're going to keep on getting those points on the board. They're going for it. Right now, they do get taken out right by the pedestal, but that's at 6. I mean, we all know how fast the points points on Black Belly Rainmaker can go down, but having that 3 down at just the wrong moment for Farto was really, really valuable right there. And Cascade Duck Crew still has a presence right here. They have the bubbles, but the Stingray gonna come in, get that 1 pick there. The Rainmaker does get picked up. They're trying to get it out of the base here, but it's not working. They do get taken out. April here and Sleepy just forcing everything they can, but we still have jumps from Cascade Duck Crew coming on, so this fight is going on for so much longer than Farto wants. We have the jumps coming in, we have the coming out, and that Rainmaker is still there. It has not left the spot yet, but it is about to reset. Though I believe that will... Ooh, but... Oh, I think somebody touched it. I think somebody touched it and died trying to not let it reset. So... with that, that really, really long fight will end in Cascade Duck Crew, unfortunately going 3 down, but we have Gob doing a little bit of sharking here, just chilling out on the wall, watching maybe just a little bit of a spot for the teammates to come back to. That Rainmaker will finally reset there, but Cobb has this position, probably going to pop out, do something right here. The armor coming in, but not quick enough, and they have the double, so very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Cobb just doing exactly what Cobb has been doing with that slosher, guarding ledges like we've got to see on previous sets. Now the Rainmaker, once again, in control of Cascade Duck Crew. They are just going to keep grabbing that Rainmaker and keep pushing it up. The longer that they hold it, the harder it is for Farto to even be able to get that Rainmaker. So Farto is just having to not only completely stop the Rainmaker, but also try and figure out how they can even get the Rainmaker in their hands and get into mid. They are able to stop the Rainmaker. April here, paired with Sleepy, going to go ahead and pop that Rainmaker. You can see Q and Jess there in mid, trying to get that map control that they haven't been able to previously get. Now Farto grabbing the Rainmaker, Q using this Inkjet, gets a pick onto Uton, and is going to try and get a push going here for Farto.
Yeah, that Inkjet aim really good. I think not, even if not for the range, they might have gotten another pick there. We have a lot of bombs coming out though, so that's going to be a literal minefield for the Rainmaker as they try to go through that. There's all the suction bombs. 1 pick though. Somebody's coming in from the side. 2 down now on the side of Farto. Sleepy's being forced to back all the way up, and all of those missiles. I think they ate some missiles from their teammates as well, so fortunately, they could have. I feel like they were trying to set themselves up to go really far to just go in with that, but all of that forcing them back just made it did not work out. April here getting that 1 pick on the Stingray, getting 2 picks on the Stingray. Very nice there. You can see the damage comboing, how quickly just the few hits from the Stingray were able to take out the slosher on the side of Cascade Duck Crew. So we are back in mid, 50-6 right now, and just over 1 minute left in this match. We have had Stingrays galore. You see 7 Stingrays already out from April with a 12 KA. Sleepy's gonna pick that up. We're in the last minute of the match now. Inch this Rainmaker forward, but again, these suction bombs are gonna make it so difficult.
Uton here, paired with their teammate, is just going to continue throwing out those bombs, like you mentioned, to just stall out this left side. And bubbles, missiles, all these specials coming at the Rainmaker right now, just making Sleepy have to completely back up and not be able to push the Rainmaker. Now with the Rainmaker completely pushed back into this really awkward snipe area, I mean, this is looking very difficult for Cascade Duck Crew to be able to get to the Rainmaker now. This could be exactly what Farto needs as they are grabbing the Rainmaker and starting to push once again.
Yeah, I mean, that little corner makes it really difficult sometimes to reach the Rainmaker. Farto was able to grab it and bringing it forward. They have 10 seconds left. They have all their specials coming out right now. The Inkjet, the Booyah Bomb, but still they haven't gotten quite as many picks. We have the Slosher, they have the missiles at the ready, we have the bubbles as well. Make it so difficult for them to go in. My screen froze for a second there, but I am back. We have just April doing their best. The bubbles do get shredded. That's 2 down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew. All of those missiles stalling them out. We have more missiles on the way as well. April just has to go for it sooner or later. They only have 17 seconds left on their timer, so they're just going to inch forward. But the suction bombs and the splat bombs are endless. I mean, I can barely see a way forward. They are the last one remaining. They just have to go for it. But that is the opportunity for Cascade Duck Crew to jump down and end it.
Man, props to April there at the end. They were literally holding the Rainmaker down to the last, 10 seconds of that timer.
Yeah, I believe
as much as they possibly could. Yeah, and guarding it with their lives, making sure that they were just trying to keep it alive through all those specials that were coming at them too. So they did everything they could there at the end. But Farto unfortunately lost that game 5. So Cascade Duck Crew is moving on through the winner's side of the bracket. Farto, though, is still not out. They are going down into the loser's side of the bracket to see if they can duke it out and make it to the end.
Yeah, despite all the DCs, Cascade Duck Crew pulls through, manages to get that. So that was really, really good. Don't know if we'll be taking a break because it does look like our next set is ready, but we'll take a look at the rest of the bracket for just a second. Synergy and LYRE, our other winners match, also ended in a 2-3 with LYRE coming out on top. So they're the ones we'll be seeing next facing Cascade Duck Crew. And in the losers bracket, so losers round 1, we had Axolt versus Helixio. I might be mispronouncing that. 2-1, so Axolt's moving on to face Farto. And then 64 versus Unlimited Woomy United, ending in a 2-0 for 64. So 64 will be moving on to face Synergy.
Ooh, this makes it really exciting on the winner side of the bracket too, seeing that Synergy versus LYRE, their set went 2-3 also. So, I mean, it's just looking so close. It could be anyone who's going to win this in the end.
All right, we're going to go directly into this next set. No waiting necessary. Very nice how the timing works out. So we just saw Cascade Duck Crew pull off, like you said, a nice 2-3. And we're seeing LYRE again, who we saw pull off that 3-0 against Axolt on stream. Might I note, Axolt is not out of it. They won their first losers and they're going to go up against Farto, I believe, as we speak. So these two teams, we both saw dominating performances out of both of them. LYRE, of course, absolutely killing it on splat zones. Cascade Duck Crew showing off their flexibility through tower control, through the zones, through clans as well, fighting the good fight. So, with these two teams put up against each other, they've both given us a show in these past two sets. Very, very excited to see what they have in this set where they go head to head.
Oh, I'm really excited too. And remember that for anyone watching at home, this is still a best of 5 set with counter picks. So we will continue going through this set like we have previously and seeing counter picks throughout this set as well. And I think that just makes this even more exciting, just knowing how close these two teams are in terms of their sets that they previously played and seeing how close this might be, because they can really, really take those counter picks into a factor and seeing how they want to counter pick each other in this.
Absolutely. We're going to be starting off with splat zones on the reef. So we did see the reef before, but we saw it on clamps. We'll be seeing it on zones now. This is also a double zone map. So gonna make it a little bit more difficult to hold onto that zone. I think it wasn't always a double zone map, was it? Didn't it used to be one large zone?
Yeah, in the beginning it was one large zone, and then I forget how long it was, but they did switch it over to a 2 zone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I just kind of like want to imagine like how this would play out if it were a 1 zone map. It feels like it would play out a lot differently. Yeah. But that 2 zone does mean 2 smaller zones. Even if you have the first one, you've still got to go into the second. Sometimes that results in a little bit of a split between teams where somebody tries to go in from behind or, drop off of a bridge. Sometimes everybody just decides to attack from the front. And especially once you lose a member, it can really make taking that zone coming around a little bit more difficult.
Oh, absolutely. And you have to really be careful too. There's so many flanks on this map. You can flank the light area, you can flank the street area, and then the bridge too. I mean, if you are not watching the bridge, if you are on the bridge and not watching the flanks, you can easily get flanked on that too. So you have to be really, really crucial in how you watch the bridge and how you watch the flanks, and who you have painting the zone just really, really comes into play for this.
Yeah, we know from what we've seen before that LYRE plays very, very well on splat zones. I mean, though they don't necessarily have the most paint-heavy comp, especially with the Gluga's the painting not necessarily the first thing, but we've seen how they can pull off that defense, that lockout. And then on the side of Cascade Duck Crew, I mean, we've seen that Squeezer be really integral. We've seen that Slosher as well. So they all have those little gimmicks that they play off of each other, and I think that's what these teams might have, just something like that in common. So seeing how they play off of each other and against each other is going to be really cool.
That's always fun when you see not quote-unquote normal weapons that we get to watch. I think that's part of it that makes it so exciting, because players like, the players on these teams, they have really, really honed in on how they like to play them. The Glugas in particular sticking out to me. Cobb sticking with that Slosher, you know, even though Slosher isn't quote unquote in the meta anymore. I mean, they're playing these weapons so well, and being able to get this far in the tournament, it's going to be really fun to watch them play against each other too. Just not weapons that we get to typically see fight against each other, and players that play them so well. I think it's going to be really cool.
I mean, yeah, that's what's really cool. You know, if you find something you like, you stick with it, and it works. I mean, I know I keep coming back to these Glugas, but I mean, I've seen Reno play. I used to play with them back when we were both in Checkpoint 1, low level, and pretty much right after we played an in-house tournament together, they just skyrocketed, and now they're here. So now that I'm more on the production side of things now, I don't play comp anymore, so it's really cool to see how far they've come. And in general, just through SAC, these teams, yeah, like you said, it's a tournament series. You can see them grow as a team together, build up their rankings, and like you said, they all worked hard for the points to get here.
Absolutely. And looking at this too, so I'm so interested. I mean, you highlighted too, we got to see LYRE previously play on the stream and see how well they did on Splat Zones in particular. That just really seemed like their mode. So having this, we are starting out this game 1 onto Splat Zones on the Reef, both teams coming out here, and we get to see their comps coming out. So let's see what happens. We get to see the classic, both comps, very, very normal from what we've previously seen from these two teams. So let's see what happens as the game starts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how Eva actually in this particular plays against, because we saw so much of that, the flings of the range being used, and that, you know, going up against something like the Slosher also uses its range, also uses its fall off a lot. So we're going to see a couple of early picks go down on LYRE, the Glugas as well as the Zap going down relatively early still, but so that means that Cascade Duck Crew is going to take the zones, but LYRE has a good amount of control on the bridge here, so they're definitely going to use that. Reno's going to ball her into the zone here, look for somebody, not going to quite find anybody, but ooh, the playing around the wall there, that was really nice. Managed to take somebody down with them as well. So 2 down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew, 1 down on LYRE, and they've respawned pretty quickly too. We have that jump here. Koji gonna hide out, Koji gonna hide out in those bubbles, and then of course Reno on here versus the Slosher. There we go. Unfortunately, just gonna come around and get pincered a little bit. So the Squeezer here pulling off some nice picks already. A KA of 5 is very early on in this game. So I mean, we've been seeing a lot of back and forth on those zones. You can tell both of these teams pretty evenly matched here, but right now it is Cascade Duck Crew that is a little bit more in control. Ping's looking for an opening to come back in, use that power. Gonna pair up with Reno here on the Glugas. They have the Ink Storm as well, so that's gonna give them more space to work with. Reno's going in with the wall and the baller as well, so they definitely have more space to work with. Oh, and the baller doesn't come up fast enough. Ooh.
That was an interesting frame. We got to see the baller there for like a millisecond, and all of a sudden...
and then bam, bubbles.
Yeah. So the zone now is finally back in control of LYRE. They were able to get the zone in control, and as they do so, with one member going down, they have no penalty points, but we can see that Cascade Duck Crew is fast to recognize that they have one member down. They're going to use those double missiles and this ink armor to be able to just come back in the zone. They do get that Gluga down, and this is exactly what they wanted. They are able to slowly come back in, get the zone, and get those penalty points onto LYRE.
Yeah, definitely. Able to come back in, able to wait it out, but they've definitely made it back in. 2 down on both sides right now. Squeezer getting single targeted by all of those missiles. We had a momentary 3 down there, but the Glugas have respawned. The bubbles coming into zone, very nice, putting down the turf, getting that zone back into control. So that's a great tool. I mean, we've seen the bubbles used in very, very nice ways throughout this set. All those missiles going out as well, really going to deter LYRE from trying to come back in. They have the armor, so that's an additional layer of protection, but those penalty points are gone. They do not have a lot of time to come back in. Ping has put off that Ink Storm, is able to go and get an assist, get some more paint down onto the zone. Same with Reno, same with Zeal. They've all dropped onto the zone here, so they are able to get back in control, apply a little bit more penalty. 38 is not a lot though, so they are definitely not sitting comfortably. They need to go up, they need to get these picks, these points, and that's going to be difficult when Egret has this armor, but they are getting the points on the board that they would like to have. They just have to watch for all of these specials that are going to be coming out from Cascade Duck Crew really shortly.
Yeah, Zeal here is going to use this armor as they know the specials are coming out from Cascade Duck Crew, but unfortunately with 2 members going down on the side of LYRE, this is... Okay, I was going to say 2 members going down on the side of LYRE, but now in turn there's 3 members down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew. So what an interesting exchange going on with that pushback in, because now the zone is still in control of LYRE, and they have only about 10 penalty points right now, and they do have 3 specials at the ready. So if Cascade Duck Crew wants to be able to come in and at least cap the zone, they have to play this so carefully.
Slowly but surely, these tables are turning. Those penalty points are gone, and we're only 2 points from the lead. So that lead is going to go to Cascade. Sorry, not Cascade, but there's a lead is going to go to LYRE. Cascade Duck Crew, though, very, very quick to take this opportunity to come back in. Gets 1 pick. Eva has to drop down onto the zone. Yeah, they're going to camp that jump. The wall just going down, unfortunately. So not too much damage done. Only 20 to 28, and 43 penalty points is a good amount. We are just under 30 seconds left in this match. Cascade Duck Crew has to come back, has to get this lead, and that puts them in a little bit more of an offensive position, a little bit on the back foot, but they are definitely keeping a hold of this zone very, very well. They have the specials to do this. They have the lack of penalty points to make this happen. Cobb just has to be careful. And oh no, the squeezer going down as well. That is going to take them out. That's 3 down now. The junior going to be the only one left, and so that is the end of the match.
Oh, that was so close.
Wow.
Cascade Duck Crew had... Their points were so close there at the end. They had like practically no penalty points, but LYRE just was able to really, really make sure they held the bridge in particular and just made sure that they were guarding the zone. And they knew if they did that, they were able to win it. Look at that, 10 missiles coming out from Eva there. Oh my goodness. That was such a close first game.
Yeah. Wow, I mean, could see that Cascade Duck Crew was setting up to take that back, to force that overtime, but that 2 down, just even though they got some points on the board, prevented them from holding that out. The junior just was not able to keep that going on their own. So that first game going to LYRE, but wow, that was definitely a back and forth, definitely the kind of match I like to see. I mean, if that first match is like this, imagine what the rest of the set's going to be like.
Oh, I know. That's always something that's really exciting about this. I mean, this is a best of 5 counter picks, and essentially we are in winners finals, so these 2 teams are really, really putting on a show for us in winners finals of SAC, and I can't even, my brain, that was such a really, really good first match.
Absolutely. I mean, it kind of feels like a fusion of the first 2 sets we saw, you know, taking the best of both worlds, because it really is. I mean, seeing both of these teams perform against different teams and then perform against each other is always such a treat. We are waiting on our counter pick now, and we have it. So we're going to be going back to Black Belly Rainmaker.
Ooh, what an interesting counter pick. So this is Cascade Duck Crew's counter pick that they have chosen since they did lose the first match here. And
No, we saw it work last time.
yeah, exactly. So, and I was going to say how it's like interesting, you know, typically in the quote unquote meta, it's so normal to see custom jet squelcher stingrays on this map and mode, but Cascade Duck Crew just handled this without a stingray, and they did it so well on the last set that we got to see them win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the you know, the momentum from that's carrying over a little bit here, and like we saw it did work out for them pretty well. So that's definitely it makes sense for them to counterpick that here. I completely understand the decision-making process behind this. We'll have to see how it plays out against LYRE, though, because of course they're bringing out a couple of different things that we haven't seen before. If we see the walls Gluga come back, those walls could be really, really disruptive. Or even if we see the K-Glugas come out, those fizzy bombs as well.
And then I think it's interesting too, this map and mode, the other team, LYRE, doesn't really necessarily have a stingray either, so I think that just makes this even more fun. We get to see, I have a feeling though, we're going to see a lot of missiles coming out. Of course, we saw Eva just popping off with the missiles last round, and then Cascade Duck Crew has typically been running, as we get to see again, double missiles, so missiles are going to be a huge factor in this map. and mode.
That is the V-Glugas, actually. I don't know the V-Gluga kit, do you? I have forgotten, unfortunately, but I'll probably figure it out at some point. Oh, thank you! I love streamers. That is mine and Inkjet, so cool and good. Thank you so much. How very useful. we love and appreciate our streamers in this household. Anyways, Reno's absolutely going for it. Very, very, very aggressive opening from LYRE there, and it gets them what they want, all the way to 25 in about 30 seconds. I mean, I'm pretty sure they had that planned out. Like, Cascade Duck Crew might have a lot of experience on here, but I'm sure LYRE does too, and that opening just worked out so well for them. So almost immediately Cascade Duck Crew's got a high bar to cross, but they can definitely do it, already getting that 3 down and probably looking for the zap to do cleanup, who Zeal has backed up all the way. Zeal knows that they can't afford to lose the presence that they already have here. So good job on both of those teams. Rainmaker is going to go back to mid now. Ping on that Tri-Slosher, looking for that pick, does get that pick, does go down to those missiles as well, but hey, maybe that's a trade that they really wanted, and Zeal's going to come in and get that pick as well. That's 3 down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew. So LYRE's just going to take this, going to go in for another probably very aggressive push.
I love that Zeal grabbed the Rainmaker and their teammates are trying to help them push up here. The longer that LYRE keeps the Rainmaker in their control, the harder it's going to be for Cascade Duck Crew to get the Rainmaker or even get into mid. So the longer that LYRE just keeps this up, it's going to be that much more difficult for Cascade Duck Crew to get any momentum going. With only 2 members up of LYRE, you can see Reno and Zeal just stalling this out as much as they possibly can, though. With a complete wipe onto LYRE, this might be the moment that Cascade Duck Crew needs to be able to get a push going.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and go down this half pipe here, going to get them very nicely into the position that they need to be. They might take this all the way up the left route, not completely sure. Do get the pick on Reno, do get the pick on Zeal as well, so that's very good. Ping coming in from the side, though, so they're going to have to be careful. These bubbles as well, really nice. Eva's got a lot of damage on them as well. The suction bombs are coming in. We do have another pick. We have the missiles going to come out and make this a lot more difficult. Egret's able to avoid them. 2 down, 3 down on the side of LYRE. They're going to go straight through this Inkstorm. Try to avoid Zeal. So we're now 35 to 25. Uton going down, but Cobb is still here. Cobb still has a presence, and they have members jumping to them, which is going to be really, really important. We have the Reamer going. We have Eva going out, cleaning up, getting the pick. 3 down now. I believe that K-Shot's just respawning, so very nice. We have the 1 point difference, though. I don't know who picked it up and brought it closer, but they brought it to 26. And that is really, really difficult. So now Cascade Duck Crew's got to pull off the whole thing again, and they have to do it while avoiding LYRE. I mean, we've seen what LYRE can pull off in terms of both defense and offense. So, going to be a really difficult fight for both of these teams in the last about 2 minutes of this match.
Good to see Egret here grabbing the Rainmaker, and with 2 members down right now on the side of LYRE, this could be a good opening for Cascade Duck Crew to try and figure out how they want to get the lead. They're doing a really good job at continuing to get members of LYRE down. You can see, Uton here pairing up with Cobb, just doing a really good job at getting that pick onto Ping. Now Bubbles coming out from Koji. You can see that's a really, really good opening for their Rainmaker carrier, but with all the bombs coming out from LYRE, Zeal carrying the Rainmaker is just going to have to play this so carefully.
Yeah, Cobb and Ping trade. Lots of people going down. The only person alive is going to be Uton right now, so they can put all of this pressure on. But Eva anticipates this and just puts down the roller. 2 crush picks right there. A Squid back there. They know what they did there. So you have to admit, I mean, that was just perfect timing from them. Uton did their best, but unfortunately that swing just knocked them out, and so they pretty much have 1, maybe 2 attempts to get this last point in. They have the armor as well that's going to get popped. The missile's going to get popped as well. Reno doing a little bit of something over there, jumps off the wall, jumps back, don't know what that was, but it's a pretty funny super jump frame to watch. They're going to take it from the right path here. Missiles going to make this a lot more difficult, though. We have them... that's going down is really, really unfortunate. They're going to go down in this little bit of a not quite awkward position here, but we have Zeal and Eva just doing so much guarding right now. Eva comes in from the back, gets a pick on Cobb, and, Eva's just going to guard this Rainmaker right now. We have Egret coming in, doing their best, but that's just going to kind of get driven away. Koji there, though, right there, waiting for the Rainmaker Not quite gonna get the pop in time, so unfortunate, but very, very close match.
Such a close match. I mean,
Oh,
literally down to that one point. It could have
I
switched
know.
in an instant. It was really, really close. And I think these two
Absolutely could
teams.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
look at
gosh.
those KAs! Whew! KA specials, these teams, you can see just how evenly matched they are right now. I do want to point out something nice I noticed. As we know, throwing bombs at bubbles will int to pop the bombs. And I noticed something when Koji was putting up the bubbles for the Rainmaker, they saw the suction bombs back off a little bit and waited for that third bubble, so they hopefully, maybe so that they wouldn't insta-kill their Rainmaker friend. So that's really nice awareness right there.
That is really good awareness. I love that. And these squeezer players like Koji, I mean, once they get that down, that bubbled mechanics and the way they're able to play that, it can play out so well. And I love that. I think that instead of using a Stingray, quote unquote, on Blackbelly skate park, being able to use bubbles and use those as a pushing mechanism or as a wall almost, we got to see that. And I think that's a really, really good counterplay for this map and mode in particular.
Yeah, it definitely works in different ways, but it's a really, really nice tool to be able to use. Alright, so we have another counter pick in tower control on the reef. So I think this is the third mode that we're going to be seeing on the reef with Clan Blitz zones and now tower. That is going to be Cascade Duck Crew's counter pick. And their last counter pick of the set. So if they win this, the next two are going to be LYRE's counter pick. Hopefully they can bring this back. It's definitely possible, but they're going to have to watch their steps against LYRE.
We sure have been seeing a lot of the reef today, whether it's Splat Zones, Clan Blitz, and now Tower Control. We sure get to see a lot of the reef today on all the different variety of modes. So coming out here, looking at these comps, we get to see the one main switch up I do see is Cobb actually switching over to the Soda Slosher. So going to be using that Burst Bomb Rush in a switch for the double missiles that Cascade Duck Crew has typically been running.
Yeah, I think we saw that previously on the reef too, if I'm not mistaken, so that's probably just a stage-specific pick that they have planned out, which is definitely fair. Cascade Duck Crew's going to be first to take that tower. Got two down on both sides. That K-Shot's going to respawn first, though. And so we do have that. They do get past that first checkpoint. Very nice, pretty, very, very quickly. Cobb here on that Soda's going to go around and look for that pick. They have the bombs as well. How many people does it take to kill a couple of members of LYRE? And it all works out. That 3v2 ends in the victory of Cascade Duck Crew, and they're going to keep on going right to that second checkpoint. Reno here doing their best. Unfortunately, does go down to Koji, who is all the way up in this little alley right here. Eva gets single targeted by those missiles. So much damage. Somehow narrowly avoids going down there. I don't know how they've stayed alive for so long. Does eventually go down, but that was very impressive. And meanwhile, we have the tower making it all the way to 22. 3 down now on LYRE with Ping the only one alive. And Cobb is still there. So Cobb is going to stay here, slosh over that ledge, maintain this incredible position, and use those burst bombs to their advantage. That tower is going to continue 10-9 in the single digits now. Koji's just there, and that is the knockout for Cascade Duck Crew. There is the momentum that we've been looking for. There, that counter pick is exactly what they needed. They said, we know this map and we're going to take it, and this set will continue on.
What a counter pick. I mean, they knew to achieve exactly what they wanted to do, what positions they needed to be in, and what areas they needed to watch. I mean, I love that we got to see them immediately take that left alley, and Eva was trying, I mean, Eva was doing some crazy movement, but I mean, just the crazy good movement, I should say. But just the aggression and the positioning from Cascade Duck Crew was really on point there. I mean, really good counter pick from them.
Oh, we're not rounding it. We're gonna go back to the reef. Clan Blitz again. We have come full circle, everyone. Oh boy. I unfortunately we can't round it off because Reef Rainmaker is not a part of this map pool. I think that would be kind of funny, but you can't see all 4 modes. So we're just gonna go back to Clan Blitz. I guess we really like the Reef here today.
I guess so. That's so funny. I mentioned that on the last set, and then they were like, you know what? Let's just keep it going. You mentioned it, let's just go back to the reef.
More than half of this set officially is going to be Clan Blitz not Clan Blitz, sorry, but it is going to be made up of the reef. I mean, I guess that's what you sign up for with counter picks, everybody. I love the Reef Advanced Circuit.
The Reef Advanced Circuit.
Oh god. Well, there's a reason the Reef is the promotional front of Splatoon 2, I suppose. Clan Blitz on the Reef, so we're gonna go right into it. We've already seen Cascade Duck Crew on this in the previous set, and I think this is where the disconnection issues started. So hopefully we're not gonna be seeing any more of those today. We've got the tried and true cops coming out of both sides. No switch if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we'll just have to see how Cascade Duck Crew is going to play against their not-so-new enemies on this, well, not-so-new stage.
So bridge here starting out, both teams going for that bridge area, trying to see who can get control of that first. 2 members down of LYRE actually right away. So this is a really, really good moment for Cascade Duck Crew to get control of the bridge. And already you can see, I mean, Cobb using this burst rust already, getting specials ready, getting this mid control, and with 21 clams already from Cascade Duck Crew, they are setting up themselves really, really nicely here at the beginning.
Yeah, there's the bubbles, there's the power clam. They're in position right now. Ooh, but Egret going down is the first part of their plan, not going according to what they want. And Eva's in a great position, does get another, so that power clam's gonna go down. Uton getting a nice pick there, able to get another clam and take that down to 68. Honestly, with all of those picks, I expected that push to be maybe a little bit bigger, but definitely fair. That's the objective of LYRE, to keep it as small as possible, and we saw a lot of good placement there as well, a lot of good positioning, so that push does come to an end. Not a bad showing of opening potential, though.
Definitely not a bad showing of opening potential. And right now, each team does have both members up. You can see this might be the moment LYRE has been looking for. They are able to push up all the way under the other team's basket, but I love that backup from Cobb and their teammate, just backing up, allowing that member of LYRE to come into them. And now each team is really just kind of poking at each other, trying to get mid control, trying to get this bridge control, with one member of Cascade Duck Crew going down. 2 members now. This might be a really, really good opening for LYRE. Looks like it is. Zeal here going to come up and score this power clam. Their teammates are this way, letting them know, hey, come on, the basket is clear right now. Score in any power clams or any clams that you have, because the lead is so close.
Yeah, close indeed. And there's the jump in for the power clam. They're going to be able to get that in. Reno, nice baller, unfortunately does go down there. Cobb going to go down to, I think that was a bomb. Pink's coming in, going to get the trade as well. So this push, a lot more casualties than Cascade Duck Crew wanted. Egret here, still up. Eva keeping that basket open, getting the pick as well. And so that basket remaining open means even more clams are going to go in for LYRE. They're going to take that all the way down to 12 from where it feels like it was just at 60 just a moment ago, and they're going to keep that in. Ping has all of these clams, going to try and throw them in as fast as spectator cam lag, but there is the KO.
That looked really interesting for a moment there.
Ping's just kind of standing there with the clams like, am I going to throw them in? Should I throw them in? Should I wait a little bit longer? But they do throw them in. That is the KO there, and that is the set.
What a close last game that we got to watch. Oh my gosh. And what a great, turn of playing and adapting from LYRE there. They really, really were able to get it together and just get those clams in to completely KO that. And what a great set that we got to watch there for winners finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Eva keeping that basket open was kind of the catalyst to that push, just because, I mean, we saw, I think it was Egret going in for the pick, but Eva was able to throw a couple more clams and get that pick, and that's really what allowed the rest of those clams to just come in and bring that the numbers down very, very quickly. So Reef heavy set, nice 3-1, but very, very close, and just what a great show from both of these teams.
Absolutely. And looking at the bracket too, let me just go ahead and refresh that. Okay, so looking at the bracket, it's going to be next up Farto versus 64, and then whoever wins that will be fighting Cascade Duck Crew in losers finals. So that is what's happening next up in the bracket.
All right. Well, that is going to be it for us as commentators. But that's going to be it for us as commentators, but not it for the tournament, because we have a great duo coming up that's going to be Skepidillions and K-Bot. So that is not a pair you want to miss at all. They're going to be taking it from here with those matches that you mentioned. But before we go, Rissa, where can the wonderful people in the audience find you on the internet?
Oh, everyone can find me Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube at Rissa Hi. Yeah, that's about it from me. How about you, Cater?
You can find me on Twitter at Cater_. I do art. I talk about the things I cast. I'll be on tonight for Squid Junction, so you'll see me there with Kbot. And yeah, again, thanks to our streamer Boing. Do stay tuned because we'll be right back with a different set of commentators and another round. So we'll see you guys.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Splatoon Advanced Circuit Season 5 finale. My name is K-Bot. I am joined by Skepidillion. Skep, how is your Saturday afternoon going?
My Saturday is going lovely. I am extremely eager for this upcoming week and these upcoming matches. Did you know that Splatoon 3 can be downloaded on your Nintendo Switch and played in 5 days, 8 hours, and 9 minutes? Did you know that, K-Bot?
I did know that. In fact, I've already downloaded it.
Me too.
I have downloaded it in preparation for attending Riptide, which I will be doing and you will not be doing, which will be fun. So on that note, put it on in the background while you are playing Splatoon that weekend. There will be a day 1 tournament at Riptide. Be streamed right here on IPL. But nonetheless, we're going to be getting into this game pretty soon here, so we should probably introduce it just a little bit. We are in losers semifinals of this tournament. This is top 4 of the entire SAC season right now between these two squads. It is Farto and 64, second and third coming in overall off of the leaderboards here, Skep.
Yeah, whoever loses this set is going home. For the rest of SAC Season 5, having taken 4th place, whoever wins this has a shot in the losers finals match to move their way up to grand finals. So for both of these teams, a lot is on the line.
Lots on the line. It's been an entire, 2 months, 3 months in preparation up to this point, and no one wants to let it go to waste the week before the next game comes out. You see the compositions on your screen. Actually, probably the most shooters we've seen so far today, Scott.
It is! We've been seeing a lot of buckets, a lot of dualies, a lot of flingza roller, as we mentioned earlier, but very quickly getting into that game, both teams vying for that zone. This is a stalemate of a 20 seconds, K-Bot.
It's going to be a little bit stalemated to start things off. Looked like 64 might be able to pick up the first hold here, especially with 2-down situation. They're forcing a few of the jumps out here as well. And this Stingray is going to try to pick off some of the members to make the approach for Farto back in be a little easier. But right now it's a little bit disoriented. Jess goes in, is able to find a trade onto one, but there's with no one else to support. Farto still has to fight their way back into the zone.
Yeah, 64 having 2 members in that zone. They're holding on rather strongly. They did get all the way up until Spinner, but Sleepy come around on that right side is going to get a trade, but only one member Farto left standing, so 64 are going to be able to continue that hold here very early into the game.
Well done by them, but of course can't be understated. Farto getting that cap, putting that penalty on, buying themselves just a little bit more time and being able to build up their specials just a little longer in order to actively take care of this. Now you see those specials come out, Ink Armor, Tenemissile, Stingray, all 3 online, but it's not going to be enough even still. 64 is just being able to play this Deathball style, pick off 1 member at a time on Farto, and they're taking care of business right now, although they go 2 down in the process. 64 in knockout territory. They're going to have to try to hold on to this zone here, and Farto's going to have to find a way back in, but they don't have barely any specials online. 1 goes down. That's Metashark on top of the zone, and the approach might hold here for Farto. And indeed, some of the members of 64 will back away, giving the zone away to Farto, and that was looking dangerous for a while.
It really was looking like 64 was barreling towards a KO, but they didn't have the specials that they need in order to defend that retake from Farto. And finally, here we are looking at the first lock and hold for Farto. As those missiles come out, they have that Booyah Bomb, they have that armor, but 64 having all 4 of those specials online. Anytime the 64 caps here, if they are able to, is going to benefit them from applying that penalty, but they still need to be able to do it. The Inkjet coming out, going to be able to push Farto back away from that zone. 2 down on Farto as 64 barrels for that zone, getting another pick that is a cap in favor of 64, and that's very, very huge for them given how much difficulty Farto has been in terms of breaking in and physically holding that. That was the first successful hold that they had so far this game.
Well done to Farto here, but a fantastic retake from 64, and now that member is able to pick off Q there, so now Q will be staggered from the rest of the team as Farto tries to come back in, but now they're popping their own specials. Ink Armor, Stingray coming out. That Stingray from April, able to find 2 here, and Farto is going to be able to make their way back into the zone. Now, firefights happening around the zone is going to mean Farto comes out on top here, and we'll see if they can try to hold this on for longer, but of course, 64's retakes have been clean so far.
They have, and they are heading towards the specials that they are going to need to do that. That Booyah from Farto could potentially stall out any sort of retake that 64 does attempt. But here we go with those Ink Armor intensive missiles quickly losing their junior. That's such a huge chunk of pate for a retake here. Zach going down on Spinner. This is going to be a penalty switch, or a lead switch in favor of Farto. 64 has one more good go at this, and it is the backs against the wall.
Welcome to the world of chaos here. Fights happening all over the place, and this time it's going in a landslide in Farto's favor. Now, 5 ticks of timer left to go. Tugster trying to make their way on top of the zone, but it's just not going to be enough. With Farto going 2 down, it's just not fast enough. Farto will be able to find their way to game 1 in this best of 3, which is huge for them.
It is, and they're looking for that chance against a rematch against Cascade Duck Crew heading into that losers finals. What I found surprising about that game was the special timing. Obviously, we're talking quad shooter versus quad shooter, so special timing is going to be the deciding factor in terms of who wins that game. And for a long time there, it did look like 64 had that edge on special timing. But once Farto was really able to get that second lock and hold, their chains were ideal, and I think that's what enabled them to pull lead there towards the end of the game, despite looking like they were on the losing side for the vast majority of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, at the end of the day, right, so much about Splat Zones, especially when you're playing compositions that are relatively similar in nature, let's be real with ourselves, going to be about those specials, going to be about those timings, going to be about synergizing with the rest of your team in order to take care of business. At the end of the day, Farto was just able to do that towards the end of that game, be successful in terms of their defenses, and, you know, able to call out the weaknesses of some of those attacks from 64. But now 64 has an opportunity to find a counter pick here, and they're taking us to Anchovy Games.
Not just Anchovy Games, but Anchovy Zones. I think that's very, very different than Sturgeon Zones, because once you get control of the zone on Sturgeon, you really want to take Spinner and you want to take control of your opponent's pit, and those are low-lying areas which are surrounded by spool, tree, and window. So your opponents have a significant high ground advantage if you manage to push all the way up into pit. With Zones Ancho, the name of the game is taking control of arcade and holding that for as long as physically possible, and more often than not, on Zones Ancho, the winning team is decided by who gets into whose arcade first and holds it for longer. I do think this is going to play out substantially different than Sturgeon Zones. Whether or not that will be in favor of 64 and whether or not we will be moving towards a game 3 is up for them to decide, but I also think that Flingza from Crass is going to be beneficial here.
Perhaps so. Anytime you can get a decent amount of ink, there's plenty of opportunities to try to find that onto the zone. But no, actually, see Flingza this time around. Still, quad shooters on the map for these teams.
Yeah, quad shooters, so we're probably going to see a very similar exchange in terms of special timing being the most important factor in this. Both teams going in for that zone. The Ray is online. That Ray is going to be really useful in terms of clearing and holding street as well. Very quickly, we're seeing an exchange in specials.
Hand missiles, armor, stingrays coming all over the place as these teams are looking to try to find their early advantages. Looks like 64 is going to have the most solid one to start out. Given that few of the members of Farto have gone down, we'll see if they can, how much of a hole they can convert this into. It's going to be a matter of clearing out the rest of these members of Farto. How much longer can they buy some time? Looks like quite considerable amount, as now you see already Farto starting to step forward. Q here, looking in position, doesn't want to overcommit and wants to play with the rest of the team, but also making his presence known. But here it comes, Metashark trying to play the aggressive here. And now we're seeing some of these specials come out. Booyah Bomb, 10 Missile, Stingray, all on top of this zone, but it's still 2 down for 64. They're not fully able to take care of business here. Farto might be trying to come on up, and it looks like they're going to be able to find it. There's the delayed wipe that they needed in order to take back control of this zone.
Yeah, that flank from Jess through window was extremely huge because it was able to pull away 64's attention from arcade. By the time Jess went down, 2 other members of Farto had dropped window as well and were able to clean up the surviving members of 64. So we are looking like 64 is going... Oh, they're trying to push in, but finding themselves in trouble on that left hand. Metashark in that 1v1 going to go down to Sleepy. So very strongly, Farto is going to be able to maintain this zone once they get that recap.
And you see just how much ink they've already been able to build up so far. They've got 3 members looking to try to be in position here, and you're already starting to see, some of these members play a little bit more aggressive as well. That pro was trying to apply a little bit more pressure, realized might not have been a safe, and then backed on away. But we'll see what the approach from 64 is here. They've got a few specials ready and online, but specials are getting popped from Farto as well. 10 missiles, ink armor, booyah bomb, all coming out. Jess able to find one there with that booyah bomb here, and that's going to delay this push from 64 to come on top of the zone. The lead's going to go to Farto here, but what can 64 do before the knockout happens?
Something I find very fascinating about how Farto is playing this is they are choosing not to hold Arcade with their physical presence, but rather through that Stingray and Booyah Bomb, so they can opt to play back, play safer, and still hold that position. Despite that, 64 is going to be able to cap the zone. Metashark dropping into it, and we are in a 3v3 situation with that Ray having just come out. 64 having that special advantage, having that armor. Will they be able to hold this as Q and one of the member of Farto come in from that right side?
2-down situation for 64. Q goes down here on top of the zone as well. Luis backing away, trying to provide an opportunity for some of these jumps to potentially come in. No, actually 64 deciding to ditch. They're backing it away here. They realize they don't have the opportunity. They realize they don't have the advantage. Well done by Farto. And again, they're looking to try to hold.
Yeah, here we go. The Stingray coming out once again, but they are missiles, so they are going to have to try and survive it. Being on that fan is going to make it difficult to deal with those missiles. And that Inkjet coming out. Ooh, here we go. Sleepy getting a pick on that jet. It's 3v1. Zach getting the pick, but there's still Q. There's a jump in zone. Is 64 going to be able to cap this here? They are holding their half. Tugster going out on that jump out. Zach forced the jump. They have a minute and a half left to break in and hold this zone, but Farto dangerously close to a KO, clearing their penalty.
Zach deciding that things weren't very safe and figured that there might be an opportunity to push back in here. But if 64 needs to make a move, they have to do it now. Zach diving on top of the zone. It's a 2-down situation actually for Farto. Somehow they're able to find the picks. 3 down now. And 64 will be able to find this cap. And now they're using some of these specials, but they still have things like this Inkjet online for Metashark. And now you see just how far forward you're pushing, just what you wanted to see earlier. And already the armor's coming out of Farto. They're looking to try to re-engage. They're looking to try to make sure that 64 can't fully get set up, and with a few going down, Sleepy is trying to regain control here, able to take out Tugster as well. 3-down situation for 64. They are not going to have the ability to hold this zone, and they're going to have to find another retake here momentarily.
This is huge for Farto. Sleepy having gotten those 2 picks and then rotating out of window where they were predicted to drop towards that main drop and getting that cap is huge. 64 needs those specials online as quickly as possible. They have that armor. They have that Inkjet. Those are popped. The Zap is down on the side of Farto. They are coming in for that zone. They need to be able to cap here, and they do. Here come the bubbles. Zach trying to take into Arcade with that last bubble. Great hold on that, but there's still April up on that up on Arcade. They are pins. 2 members of 64 going to be forced to drop into the zone. Farto having that Ray online as well. That could be very useful in terms of clearing down that left side without putting the jet in physical risk. Zach getting the pick on Sleepy. 8 seconds left in the game, and we are in a 3v2. 64 able to cap that zone, forcing this into overtime with just April left near objective.
2v2, April getting these 10 missiles out as well, and now here comes the 0-second scramble. Jumps coming in to either side of the zone, trying to make sure that this stays in the pink color or swaps back to that neutral state. But it looks like for now, 64 will maintain their presence. 10 missiles, though, coming out. Gotta be careful, gotta dodge around these things. But Q going down, that's already going to be huge. Zach going down here as well. Less painting power for 64, trying to maintain this. But Jess is gonna come up with 3 there at the very end of the game to secure it for Farto. Excellent play, prioritizing the individual squids with the range in order to take care of business, and Farto will move ahead.
Very, very stunning plays from Jess multiple times that game. Jess's quick thinking in terms of I'm going to drop window and going to re-engage this in that mid game in order to get Farto's first very solid cap. That way the rest of the remaining members of Farto could take in and take a damaged 2v2. And then that's what allowed that snowball from Farto to be able to continue going on. Jess's triple there at the end was absolutely game-saving. Once Farto had lost Q, you trades benefit the team that is currently in hold of objectives, so that looked dangerous. But Jess coming in and saying, hey, I'm here. GG's, see you next season.
And look, that's one of the things and one of the benefits potentially of that K-Pro, right? There are not a lot of other weapons. You try doing that with the Kensa shot, you're going down. You don't have the paint control, you don't have the mobility, but instead with a little bit of that extra range with the K-Pro and the fact that it can be a little bit more accurate at times, able to take out one member at a time, which is what, I mean, K-Pro itself is a weapon we still don't see much in this quad shooter meta, and worth talking about and pointing that out, or probably one of the key things in terms of coming up with that triple there at the very end of the game.
You're very, very positive in terms of K-Pros used to be so extremely meta, and obviously we all know that K-Pro meta, but just continuing to one-trick that K-Pro, and this is something I've had an opportunity to speak to them about in the past, they simply love that weapon, and I definitely look forward to seeing what they can do with that in S3, given that it did feel like there was a little bit of a buff to the K-Pro's fire rate, so Jess could very well be a monster in Splatoon 3.
Yeah, a lot of things to look forward to, of course, with a lot of these non-standard weapons. Potentially, you'll see them get buffs as things progress. But now, we're heading to our losers finals match between Farto and Cascade Duck Crew. A little bit interesting to talk about Cascade Duck Crew. They were having DC problems a few sets ago, folks. Remember that? And then somehow, they brought in their fifth. They're still able to click just as much, and they're looking like they might have the potential to win this here, Skep, especially given what the data for the rest of the qualifiers show.
Yes, exactly. Cascade Duck Crew is the only team in the top 8 of SAC to have taken games off of Farto, which is extremely worth noting. During Qualifier 3, Swiss Round 5, Cascade Duck Crew did go 2-0 over Farto, and then, despite being riddled with DCs today, able to bring it around, bringing it to a Game 5 under such intense pressure to take the set. Regardless, we know Cascade Duck Crew has ended up here in losers finals, and the pressure that puts on both of these teams is different. But it is Farto that is coming off with that high energy, having now had that win against 64. Cascade Duck Crew, their previous set was a loss. That's why we're here. So could this potentially be a situation where Farto's riding off the high of that momentum to take this set? Or will Cascade Duck Crew continue to prove their dominance over Farto on Splat Zone's Wahoo?
Here's the other thing, too, that we were talking about leading into the day was at this skill level, it is so dependent on whoever actively is going to show up today, right? These teams are all approximately the same skill level. Whoever shows up today, whoever's performing well, whoever's on fire today, will be the team that comes out on top. And if you run this one another 100 times, you might see every single team make an appearance and make a run at getting this through to finals. So we're hopping right into things, starting out Splat Zone's Wahoo, as you mentioned, and there's that bucket coming in from Cobb. We'll have to see how that plays into things overall, but Jess, interestingly, switching back to the K52 instead of that Pro.
Yeah, I do think that Soda Slusher is going to be very, very pivotal in terms of keeping paint on that zone within a rush. Cascade Duck Crew being the first team to cap that zone. Those missiles coming out, the ray coming out. That ray from Farto, however, is going to be an excellent counter to that Soda Slusher and keeping pressure up on that plat.
And we'll see just how much pressure is able to mount here. But for now, it's going to be Cascade Duck Crew able to take care of control of the zone. 2-down situation, and now Cobb able to find this one onto Jess, who is trying to be just a little bit sneaky, but sneaky in the wrong positions. It's completely orange throughout the middle of the map, and now starting to approach Farto's side of the map as well. They're looking to try to figure out where their opponents are approaching from.
Yeah, Q's going to be popping those missiles, the armor's coming out, the ray is coming out, and getting a lot of paint onto their plat already, but Cascade Duck Crew putting up a defense, but the Soda Slusher is down, the bubbles are coming out from Cascade Duck Crew. That is a recap, but Farto having done their job in terms of applying penalty, and now they're in a 3v2, and that's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable, despite just going down on that 52.
And now Koji having to jump out here, trying to maintain presence for Cascade Duck Crew. But another round of specials are coming out. Stingray, 10 missiles. Stingray back the other direction here. We'll see what else can come of this. But for right now, Farto was able to just take back control of the zones. A little bit of a back and forth ping pong here over top of the zone. As now Cascade Duck Crew is out of position. Now they might be too much out of position as a few of these members of Farto are trying to find their way in. But the firefight is just not going to completely work out in their favor as of yet. Koji able to find the assist onto one here. But Farto might be losing this zone right now as Koji is going in with the bubble blower and able to secure it for the Duck Crew. Jess trying to stall, playing with his Kensa 52. Have to love it with what all of the tools at its disposal to just stay alive. But for right now, it's going to be Cascade Duck Crew taking back control of this zone. Specials coming in on this exchange. But again, Cascade Duck Crew just backing away.
Very similar to the burst rush, the K-52's Booyah Bomb can, at minimum, be used to neutralize the zone, so a little bit of presence could insta-cap that zone at any time that they do want. Cascade Duck Crew going to get a cap. This is just incredibly back and forth. Neither team has been able to clear their penalty within the last minute. Despite that, Farto hasn't really gotten paint up onto Plat and gotten paint into court up until now, so that's going to be very useful in terms of situating their very first lockout, having that Booyah missiles.
And now we'll see how those specials come on in here. Cascade Duck Crew looking to try to find a way to approach, but Farto using their specials to try to make sure that they can have this lockout. The short-range shooters are coming in, though, and they're going to explode those bubbles on top of the zone. But it doesn't matter. Two-down situation for Cascade Duck Crew. Now, actually, two-down situation for Farto. These members are trying to stay back. They're trying to play patient. They're trying to strike when the time is right. But alas, it might not be enough for now. They'll have to regroup, pop their specials, and now Brett popping this armor. That's go mode here. But there's no one else around to try to find a way on top of the zone to get this orange ink there. And Farto right now is doing a good job of holding. 10 missiles coming out. How much paint will that put on the map? Doesn't look like enough, but it is going to catch out some of the members of Farto. They're two down now. And again, we're just seeing Cascade Duck Crew slowly rolling up to this zone and slowly taking care of business. Now they're popping the armor after they find the zone to try to lock up some of the rest of these members, and they will do just that.
The painting from the Akab on that zone was absolutely comical. Top tier support, having lived that long enough to get an armor and maintain that zone for as long as physically possible. We're in a situation where Cascade Duck Crew has 4 members up. They have that zone. They hardly have any penalty. Q going to be taking this engagement with the Soda Slosher, but that's that. But Cascade Duck Crew has extended their lead down to 25 remaining in a 4v2 situation. Make that a 4v1 situation. Farto able to cap that zone. They have 56 seconds in order to be able to get a solid lockout as the remaining members of Cascade Duck Crew try to desperately hold on to their own plat.
They have an opportunity. Q trying to go in is going to immediately get caught out and taken out by Koji, but that allows April to take care of Koji with that Stingray. Farto still in possession of the zone, but here comes the approach from Cascade Duck Crew as Kava's coming in now. Burst Bomb Launcher throwing on top of this zone and is able to pick off one there to add to that other. Cascade Duck Crew takes back control of the zone with just 30 seconds left to go, and Farto still has to find a way back to the zone, still has to find a way to prevent Cascade Duck Crew from slowly walking forward like they've done this entire match so far.
Yeah, that Burst Rush having done its job in terms of physically getting that cap and applying penalty onto Farto. There are 20 points remaining for Cascade Duck Crew as they do lose their foil squeezer. Farto getting that cap on the zone. Will they be able to force this in overtime? Because Cascade Duck Crew does bring that zone neutral. That is all that they need to do. There are 2 seconds. Missiles are going to come online and push them back away from the zone. It is a 4v2 situation with Farto in control of that zone, having minimal penalty, and it's just going to take CDC so long to physically get their bodies back onto their own plat. We have Yutan and Koji trying to avoid this right. Jess and Q holding onto that plat. They only need 8 more points. Egret trying to drop, gets the pick. It is a desperate situation as Farto finally pulls that lead, taking game 1 of Losers Finals.
Oh my goodness, that was only game 1? Hello? So much was happening back and forth. Somehow Farto is able to pull that out of their back pocket there at the very end of that game. Frankly, I don't even know how that happened. It looks like, in a lot of cases, it was the defensive scramble. It was Cascade Duck Crew trying to find a way back into the zone. They're like, oh crap, we have to find a way to cap this. And they're not methodically taking their time like they were for the entirety of that game. So Farto is going to end up taking it, and it'll be the Duck Crew's counterpick.
Take a deep breath if you're us or you're Farto, because Farto knows how their previous sets against Cascade Duck Crew have gone. They know that at this point, they need to win one more game to, at minimum, get second place in SAC. It's Cascade Duck Crew who knows that the what came down to the wire in this morning was the fact that they struggled with their DCs and the fact that they were able to bring that around by the end of the wire. But Farto, like I mentioned, is coming off of a win streak, and now having taken this first game, that's such a huge momentum shift to an opponent that they've lost to twice this season.
Are you in the right mindset for this? That's always the question, right? Right now, Cascade Duck Crew, coming off of a break, might not necessarily be there. Whereas Farto, coming off of that victory, that they're feeling pretty confident about themselves. They're like, all right, you know what? Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can take this. And that mindset can indeed be the difference, including the difference between a set earlier today and a set later today. Now, again, interesting to see what Cascade Duck Crew's counter pick is, given the fact that we have to imagine they'll be, sticking with that slosher. Trying to look for something here. I don't even know what the real answer is, because again, these teams look to me like they're playing relatively similar, even despite the fact that they have that slosher.
My first instinct was Rainmaker Blackbelly, but then you have to deal with the Ray from April. Despite that, we will be moving forward to TC Reef. I do think this could be good for them, particularly their bucket player, in terms of physically once they get up onto car. Cobb could do very well there.
There are so many avenues for the one thing that the bucket does incredibly well, right? Specifically, vanilla slosher, or soda slosher, what have you, right? These regular sloshers, I suppose. At the end of the day, it's about challenging the high ground, right? And there are so many opportunities where you can try to be a bully towards someone like April, trying to sit back on that Jet Squelcher. Or if Jess goes back over to K-Pro, maybe Jess is a little bit less mobile, then you have another person to bully. Even though there's that range disadvantage, having the ability to challenge from lower down will be beneficial. So perhaps we'll see that come into play here. Again, they're playing with their tournament lives now on the line. If Farto takes this one, they take the set and they'll be moving on to Grams.
Just sticking on that 52, which is an interesting choice, and I do think it is something that lends itself towards Farto's victory last round. Cobb sticking with that vanilla slosher, or rather rotating it. I do think that could give them some sort of pushing room, especially in terms of clearing that bridge and causing some tripping hazards up on car.
Here we go. The specials already coming out as both these teams are looking towards the bridge right away. Egret looking to try to pop on this tower already and try to get the ball rolling for Cascade Duck Crew. And they're actually going to do a pretty good job of that now with just going down. Farto's just on the back foot, on their heels right now. And the Ducks are able to start pushing this tower. I say that though. Sleepy able to come up with one. Now approaching this tower with a teammate there of April and able to take care of business. So now the map is going to switch immediately back to orange.
Yeah, and that first checkpoint is considered, in terms of competitively, rather free. Despite that, Farto having gotten the picks as Cascade Duck Crew was clearing that first checkpoint is huge, and it does show the level of defense that they're going to be able to provide moving forward. A 3v3 situation, Farto having cleared that first check as well, barreling towards the second. Cascade Duck Crew having to burn through those specials in order to be able to deal with this here. It is just remaining on that 52. That is a wipe in favor of Cascade Duck Crew. That tower is going to be heading right back towards the other side of the map, and look how purple it is.
His team is doing an actual great job, masterclass, in terms of approaching this tower from multiple angles and able to take care of business overall. The second you can start trying to approach the objective from multiple angles, the more likely you are to succeed in your fights. And they are utilizing everything that the Reef has to offer on the defensive sides of the map. Now, though, we'll see which team comes out on top as we're starting to get a little bit more back to a neutral situation. You see April trying to sneak around, trying to get something done, but it's going to get spotted out by some of the members of Cascade Duck Crew. Now Egret back on top of this tower is going to be able to get traded out here with Jess, and potentially the opportunity for this to carry forward for the Duck Crew. They've got a large amount of purple ink in the area. We'll see if they can clear past the second checkpoint or if the specials are going to come online.
Yeah, the double missiles here are going to be so useful in terms of displacing that Ray. The armor coming out from Farto, but Cascade Duck Crew is at that second checkpoint. They need to go in. Q going in and unfortunately getting picked by Cobb. That second checkpoint in extreme danger here as we are in a 3v2 situation. Cobb having to juggle a little bit with that ink, but those missiles coming out with that Ray. Is that Ray the one missiled? April is getting a pick despite dealing with that. A great defense here from Farto, but that second checkpoint checkpoint is so huge for CDC.
That second checkpoint, even just getting it down already and not having to worry about that for the rest of the game, able to snowball the tower perhaps more quickly the next time around that they're able to push, will be so much more beneficial for them. But now, potentially Farto has a chance to clear past the second checkpoint. They have to find their way to get these holds, though, and they have to find it quickly. You see Q watching this side, watching this corridor, seeing if there's anyone trying to come in from the flank here. But now it looks like one going down on top of the tower. It's going to mean that Q's going to have to step on this tower, and now potentially that flank is vulnerable. You see this tower starting to push his second checkpoint. We're just trying to paint up and trying to find specials. Ultron is going to be able to find another set of 10 missiles on top of this tower, but it's a 2-down situation for Farto. That will be the end of that push. Not able to break past the second checkpoint, and now it looks like Cascade Duck Crew has a little bit of breathing room.
I know we're all very sick of double missiles, hee hee haha, but despite that, Cascade Duck Crew, I do think it is that double missile comp that is giving them an edge here, because simply Farto was not able to set up defense on car or that right side as long as those missiles keep coming out, because those are such narrow areas in terms of prepping a defense. Pushing forward, Cascade Duck Crew could very well be heading towards that final checkpoint as that ray comes out. Very sick ray from April here, continuing the scrap.
Continuing to scrap now. Cobb on top of the tower here, allowing the jumps to come in for Cascade Duck Crew. I think Cobb was like the only one up, and all of the jumps are just popping right on top of this tower. The Ducks might be able to clear this third checkpoint as well. Suction Bomb goes off on the tower, but Egret's still able to maintain their position on this tower and able to break past that third checkpoint. That will be such a liability for Farto if they decide, if they can try to find a way to push this one forward. But otherwise, the Ducks are setting up pretty good here to send us to a game 3.
Yeah, we could, basically all CDC needs to do is keep that tower on that left side of the map. If Farto manages to get that towards the second check, Cascade Duck Crew has 2 checkpoints in order to be able to farm for missiles and force Farto off of that tower. It's Farto currently on the back foot, and CDC continuing to hold that special advantage in the final 20 seconds of the game. The tower finally working its way back to mid, but Farto going to find themselves 1 down. CDC still holding onto that left tree, despite the fact that the tower isn't there. The tower working their way back towards that left side. CDC starting to burn through those missiles and barrel towards more. The bubbles coming out in order to set up a defensive wall here. Keep Farto away from the tower. There's the first bubble. Koji getting a peck on Jess. That is it. That's the game. We are very, very, very well heading towards a game 3.
I was about to make the comment because I thought we'd be seeing 10 missiles. You've heard of GG Ray, you've heard of the GG Booyah Bomb. Now get ready for the GG missiles coming in, but didn't exactly play to favor that time. Koji coming up with the 18. Hello on the foil squeezer. I saw that weapon. I was doubting it a little bit at first, to be honest. Like, tower control? Really? You're going to pick that one here? But Koji coming in clutch with that overall, showing that they are incredibly proficient on this weapon, and they came to play today.
Yeah, those bubble nukes were just so instrumental in terms of controlling choke and that left sneaky. Just because those areas, like I mentioned earlier, are so claustrophobic, and that benefits the missiles and it benefits the bubbles as well. So just very, very solid picks from them there. Up until the ends there, where finally we did see Cascade Duck Crew clear those second and third checkpoints. It did look rather back and forth, both teams having cleared those first checkpoints very, very early in the game. It was very, very exhausting for the first 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, back and forth, right, was really the name of the game. Both those teams able to clear the first checkpoint, clear the first checkpoint, then clear the second checkpoint. But then that's really when it started to get out ahead, with Cascade Duck Crew able to maintain their presence, not get completely cleared off of the map, and play incredibly smart with their positioning. They were able to secure themselves the game and continue to build up momentum over the course of that set. Now, it's going to be the Farto counterpick for Game 3. And they're taking us back to tower control, this time on Inkblot.
Okay, so immediately I see what they're going for here. That Booyah Bomb, in order for that first checkpoint to be cleared, you need to have what? You need to have bats and you need to have plat. The Booyah Bomb there is going to be absolutely instrumental in clearing both of those areas from Jess. You can clear bats, you can start working your way towards spawn. If you manage to get the K-Pro in particular up on Garlic, that is just such a dominant position for them to hold. And then you also have April on that Ray, and in such a narrow map where the tower is relatively constrained in terms of where it is across that map. That could just be so clutch.
Potentially so, but now we'll have to see it in action. These teams both playing with their season lives on the line. Again, 2 months, 3 months of preparation in cases put into this moment. And it's all going to be decided by this game of who punches their ticket to face LYRE in grands.
Cobb here holding that right side very quickly. Down on each side. It is Cascade Duck Crew that is the first to sit on the tower, but Q sharking that left side, going to get 2 trades out. It is Farto's opportunity to begin their opening gambit.
Frankly, that was probably one of the first wipeouts we've seen all day
Oh,
so
hee
far.
hee ha ha.
Hee hee ha ha. Gotta get in that Splatoon 3 reference. Add that to the counter. Inkommer, Stingray, though, coming out of Farto. They're looking to try to keep up this pressure, and they already are. 3-down situation for Cascade Duck Crew. Farto takes even more control of this plat area of bats. There's so much blue ink around, and Cascade Duck Crew is just locked closer to their spawn. Now Q trying to chip away with this inkjet, trying to find just a handful other of these members. Not gonna be able to find anyone with that. Jess ready with this Booyah Bomb, but again, another rotation of specials coming in from Farto, still pushing these members of Cascade Duck Crew back, but now they're gonna all collapse on the tower at the last possible moment right at this 3rd checkpoint. Only one goes down, though. Farto has done a decent job of staying back. Now Jess actually able to come up with 2 there, it looks like, trying to take care of business. Is going to get taken out, but now it's Q looking to try to continue to stall this out, continue to buy more time for the rest of Farto to respawn, and they still just cannot quite seem to clear Farto off of this plat area.
Oh my gosh, that Booyah Bomb doing exactly what it needed to do in terms of just creating a fuss. If Cascade Duck Crew can't hold their own bats, they are simply not going to be able to defend that 3rd checkpoint. That being said, excellent defense there, and now the tower is heading back towards mid. April getting a couple of taps on one of those members. Cascade Duck Crew having specials online, but very quickly losing their zap. Koji up on that right side, rather isolated, using those bubbles in order to defend themselves. Pushing in, but that is a delayed 3 down on Cascade Duck Crew.
3 down again. Farto maintains control. They're playing their own counter pick here, and you can tell they're prepared in this map to face whatever comes their direction. Now Jess trying to play a little bit more conservatively, has this Booyah Bomb, is looking like the rest of the team's going to try to find this engagement. And now Cobb going down, getting taken out by that Booyah Bomb that Jess has thrown. Now storming forward with Sleepy here, teaming up to try to take care of the Duck Crew in their own area. But now, once again, April, only one around on this tower, and Cascade Duck Crew is going to finally be able to clear out these members of Farto down to that 3rd checkpoint, but they were able to clear it, and it's a slippery slope from there.
Yeah, once that 3rd checkpoint is cleared, it's just so dangerous because it's so quick to get the tower across from Slick onto Plat. Koji getting the pick on the K-Pro, very, very good, going to be able to push up into bats here. There's Q up on that top left, the bubbles coming out. Another really claustrophobic area for those bubbles to really benefit from here. Going to go down to Jess, though, on that Pro, just showing their dominance with 10 KA.
Well done here, and able to find that fall off onto Egret as well. Farto still playing this map beautifully here, and they'll regain control of the tower, regain control of mid, and probably look to just keep Cascade Duck Crew away from the tower rather than trying to ride it their own.
Yeah, Cascade Duck Crew, the one and only team to take games off of Farto, now looking down the barrel as Farto is heading once again for their own plat. Cobb going to go down, Q bringing out that inkjet. That is 2 down on the side of Cascade Duck Crew. At this point, what does Farto need to do? Q is on that tower. There is only one member left standing out of Cascade Duck Crew, and they are up in their own spawn. Are we potentially going to see a KO here?
There's always a chance, but Cascade Duck Crew has had their opportunities in order to find this way to collapse on top of the tower around this 3rd checkpoint area, but now without that checkpoint, they'll have to find a way to do just that. Koji, nice job, able to find one on a Q. The Stingray coming out, though, has to be careful of this crossfire from April that's set up. Sleepy going in, able to find one here, and now they're still trying to clear out their own plat, but in order to win this game, in order to stay alive in the season, Cascade Duck Crew still has to take this back to Farto's spawn. With 3 checkpoints in the way, they've got a long road ahead of them.
They simply need to play this perfectly. Q up on that bats. Look how blue that bats is. They don't have any specials online, but Cascade Duck Crew going to be able to clear that 1st checkpoint as those missiles come out. They still need to worry about the 2nd. Jess and Q up on that bats. Koji pushing in. They have those bubbles ready to go. Going to check a couple of bombs here and there in order to be able to try and clear this. They do lose their slosher in the process. The inkjet coming out. The bubbles coming out. Koji pushing up, trying to get a bubble pick on that jet. Not able to. Here it goes. They have cleared that 2nd checkpoint. There are jumps on that 2nd checkpoint. There's 0 seconds left in the game, and Sleepy coming in and getting a clean double. in order to secure Farto their spot in Grand Finals. Finally, proving that Cascade Duck Crew will lose, not refusing to take that third loss from them this season.
Well done by Farto, staying true there. It was the team fight at the very end of the game. Only one member left on top of the tower, and Sleep be able to clean that last member up. Nonetheless, the Duck Crew came into play today, and hats off to them, especially given with the disconnection challenges earlier. You can tell didn't really phase them as much. But alas, such a short set is going to be what takes it here for Farto. They take it 2-1 to go on ahead and face LYRE.
What a grudge match. And I just do want to emphasize this again. Cascade Duck Crew, the only team to take in the top 8 to take games off of Farto this season. Farto having played phenomenally well, getting 2 first place in gold brackets and 1 third. So simply a team holding on to first place for SAC in terms of points that very, very rarely drop those games. Just phenomenal, really. I'm really pleased to just see Farto come in and take that set, given their history so far with CDC this season.
But now, normally you would say in this kind of situation that Farto is probably the one that, they have to be the one to challenge. They have to be the one to get the bracket reset here. But looking at the standings and looking at the match histories between these two teams over the course of this season, it's actually LYRE that might need to be the ones that are scared. Farto has taken all 3 series that these two teams have played to a combined game score of 7-2. And it's only a best of 5 here to start things off, and then potentially a second best of 5 if Farto were to win. So LYRE might have their work cut out for themselves here, especially if Farto has their number.
Yeah, all 3 times that these two teams have come across each other, it is Farto that has come out on top. Despite that, LYRE are the ones hitting strongly. They have the benefit of a bracket reset to figure out how they want to be playing around Farto, how they want to be dealing with this extremely meta comp. LYRE working off meta, right? We saw earlier that they were bringing out that Try, that Flingsa, those Glugas, and then the 85. So they're going to need to play those weapons that are very distinct and a very unique comp for LYRE in order to be able to take this game, because they have their work cut out for them. And these two teams have history.
Plenty of history here and plenty of stakes on the line. Both these teams, like I said, have been fighting preparation. I know there have been more teams practicing and scrimming for SAC just because these tournaments have existed themselves in the past 3 months than you would have seen otherwise. These teams, all of the preparation, all of the work has come up to this moment, and to be so close for both of these teams, you have to know that they want to taste true victory here at the end of the season. Farto versus LYRE. It's time to see who comes up on top, starting on Sturgeon Zones.
And here we go, the exact same comp that we've been seeing from Farto are all morning, except Jess sticking with that K-Pro. It's something that they're just so physically capable of popping off with, and you love to see it. Very quickly, that Ray going to come out from Farto. Despite LYRE's initial cap, is just the Zap remaining standing. This is a lock and hold for Farto here.
Those might be the rest nerves from LYRE. Again, Farto coming in hot. They just beat Cascade Duck Crew, who's been causing them trouble this entire season. Now playing with a little bit of confidence here, able to set up their specials and able to set up the lockout. Now will LYRE be able to respond? It doesn't look like it this time around with those Glugas, the End Zap, and now the Tri-Slosher going down as well to the hands of all of these Farto members. Farto's looking like they are sitting pretty strong for themselves with so much purple ink on this map.
Yeah, that Ray coming out in order to do a cheeky little bit of spawn camping. Farto losing a member in that exchange. Reno coming up on that right side with that baller. Are they going to be able to use this, or are they going to be shredded? That is a neutralization in favor of LYRE. They are going to be able to get this cap. Are they going to be able to break into Pit and Spinner, though, in order to be able to set up strongly?
We'll see here. You see Ryotuna trying to take care of some of the approach here with these Gluga Dualies. This weapon can play incredibly stally, perhaps just like the Kensa 52 in terms of a play style. But now we turn our attention back to this zone where LYRE might be coming under fire. Never mind. 2-down situation. Zeal's able to pick up one there. Now it's 3 down. Farto is down, and LYRE is taking control of the map again, potentially looking to take the lead back.
Yeah, are they going to be able to do it? They just need a little bit of specials in order to be able to hold here. April going to be able to very quickly get the peck on Reno with that Stingray just coming in along that left side. That is a lead swap in favor of LYRE. There are 2 down. Farto has those missiles. They are going to be able to break in. It is just Zeal left near objective. Oh, never mind. Reno jumped in, just going to be forced to pop that Booyah Bomb as the 3 members of Farto are all grouped up on that left side and going to find themselves in danger here. They are swarmed. That is a wipeout in favor of Farto as they push their way up in towards that pit.
Fantastic control by Farto. Calm, collected, and able to pick off these members one by one. Again, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And despite LYRE trying to scramble to get back in, it was Farto that was able to cap the zone, applying that 62-point penalty, and now could potentially even be looking for the knockout, especially with this Tri-Slosher going down. Now that Tri-Slosher is going to have to come back in from respawning. LYRE is going to have to find a way to try to come on back in here, but they're going to give away the lead in the process, trying to find the ink on top of the zone. It's a 2-down situation right now for Farto, and LYRE will be able to find it. Now they're going to start working through their penalty here to try to take back control of the map and back control of the lead. But again, so much work cut out for them here if Farto can find a response.
Yeah, you can see that one member of LYRE go down on that right side, and then very quickly Zeal turns to try and clean that up before another member of LYRE got that pick. So very good team play. You can physically see how the members of LYRE are communicating, but will communication here be that edge here as Farto works their way back into the zone? Potentially LYRE could clear this penalty and pull lead here if they are managed able to hold on this. Ava getting a pick on cue. There's one member up on that left rat. Zeal going in, get the pick. There is no penalty for LYRE. This is going to be a lead swap in their favor. Will they be able to KO here? We do see April on that top right side, but not able to get enough paint onto the zone. LYRE taking their 4th game off of, or second game off of Farto this whole season. 3rd game. Oh boy.
3rd game. All over the board. All over the board.
I can't count.
3rd game. Well, you know, happens. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, very end of that game, right? I think I want to say it was Q trying to approach from the other side of the map that April was trying to fire on, trying to find a way to get back in the zone to get enough ink on top of the zone. But at the end of the day, it just was not enough. And so despite the fact that Farto was able to take care of a lot of those, members, they were able to have strong pushes of their own. So much of that game was back and forth. And at the end of it, seems as though LYRE was able to hold on for just a little bit longer in order to secure that. Now, though, the counter pick immediately coming in. Tower control ink blot, almost insta-locked from Farto here. They are feeling confident on this map, especially with what they were able to do versus Cascade Duck Crew last set.
Okay. I see this counter pick, and I'm like, yeah, they played well on it. They clearly had their game plan. They were very well organized on it. However, they are not facing quad shooter, which is worth noting because the strengths of LYRE's comp just are so strong here. You have that bucket, you have that flingza, you have those glugas, and what are those weapons take advantage of? They take advantage of all of the elevation differences that are relatively stable and consistent throughout ink blot zones. I think very quickly of the glugas up on bats. I think of the flings and the try playing around both of those stats. LYRE could find themselves playing very well off of the strengths of their comp here.
I hear you, but some of these things could be just a little bit slower. If Farto is able to play as fast as they were playing last set, they might be able to continue snowballing the map, continuing to stay alive, continuing to be pesky on the plat of LYRE. That'll be exactly what they're trying to do, play the game just like they did last time around. And with slower weapons like that, flow flings a roller like these glugas, potentially there will be an opportunity to do that. Now already, 2-down situation for LYRE as Farto is starting to assert their control of mid. They're going to start working their way towards this first checkpoint. Zeal, though, able to find one onto Sleepy, and that could actually stall that push immediately in its tracks. Well done and able to find that one and make sure things didn't get out of control early.
I would note that this is the first time that we have seen Jacob there on, Reno on those vanilla Glugas. The first time this whole morning, perhaps even this whole tournament. Eva up on that left stack, like I mentioned, going to be playing that geometry as the remaining members of LYRE come in and clean up the members of Farto. The two members of Farto are all grouped up on that left side. Excellent picks from Eva here, trying to push up onto that plat very slowly as their teammates come in.
There it is. The roller, being the ledge goblin, happens once again. It'll catch one of the members of Farto off guard. But now LYRE has used that, built up enough momentum to clear past this first checkpoint. But they'll have to find a way to turn around this bend, and that'll be near impossible with April's Stingray in the ready. Rhino trying to go up in the air with this Inkjet, but Q immediately going to catch that one off guard. Now able to find a second one with that bomb as well, and now Q storming forward, has an Inkjet of his own, looking to try to take back control of the plat here as this tower pushes forward for Farto.
I see Q up on that plat, and I am nervous for LYRE, given how destructive this was in the previous set. The Booyah Bomb coming out on Garlic, one member of LYRE down. Just look at all this pressure that is being brought forward with just the Flingza left standing. Farto going to be able to clear this second checkpoint, but will they be able to clear the third as the members of LYRE are all coming out of spawn?
Again, Farto just wants to keep building up this momentum, just wants to keep trying to lock out LYRE here in this area. Now that Booyah Bomb up in the air is able to find Reno here, who is trying to be just a little bit pesky, trying to come up from behind here. But meanwhile, that tower pushed down to the 22-point mark. Farto 2 down, but Jess is able to find this one under Rhino on this side of the map. Now 1v2, Zeal does go down to that longer range of Jess. Tri-Slusher comes forward, able to get traded out here, but it's bought enough time for Farto to maintain their presence. Q is in the area again, now is forced to back away. Things once again were looking dangerous. LYRE is able to clean things up, perhaps just a little bit better than Cascade Duck Crew, but again, it's still down to touching that third checkpoint.
Yeah, those missiles having come out almost immediately with LYRE trying to push their way up. They do have 2 down coming out of spawn. Make that 3 on the side of Farto. If they manage to get the Glugas up into bats, that could be extremely dominant. We do see Q coming out of that spawn area, Jess trying to take control of bats here. Can they clear that second checkpoint? No, Jess is going to be just a pest up there. LYRE able to maintain 1 on that tower, but just in so much crossfire. But once Farto had control of their own bat. Just what a iron wall of defense up there.
They are holding on to this one so far. Again, it's about this momentum. It's about how much further, how much more resources you have to continue extending things. Q gets the longest ranging jet shot on to ping there at the very end. 3-down situation for LYRE, and it's going to allow Farto once more to push forward. You see Jess already looking to try to get in position, but is going to get called out. And fantastic play to try to retake control of their plat here from LYRE, using that elevation change, just what you were saying a little bit earlier here. And it looks like it's going to mean this tower is going to reset back to neutral. We still have a minute left in this game, but LYRE really needs to get the ball rolling soon.
And that they do have those missiles and armor ready to go, but that's just simply not going to be enough in order to clear bats. Those that Inkjet coming out, here comes that armor. The ray coming out from April going to be very useful in shredding that armor. LYRE just simply has so much room to push and so little time to do it. They can take their time and let that tower mellow out a little bit, but they need to get the picks, especially in terms of the forward ones. Q coming in and trying to get some crossfire, does get the pick, and that is going to be an extreme benefit to Farto with just Reno left standing, having the fall back towards that left tree. April knowing exactly where they are. Look how much control Farto has over mid.
Yeah, that Jet Squelch are able to be so oppressive with that range, and it's allowing some of these jumps to come in for Farto as well. They're starting to, and Farto realizes, by the way, they don't have to be aggressive here. They just need to play defensively. Sleepy coming up from the side here might be able to back up Q, but Q's going to fall nonetheless. Stingray comes out, trying to catch off some of these members on top of the tower, but there's nobody around to step on the tower for Farto right now. Overtime will be forced. Zeal's trying to step on forward, but there's nobody around trying to get ahead of this tower. Is going to allow the opportunity for someone from Farto to step on top of the tower, and there it is. Booyah Bomb comes on top, and Farto is going to secure game 2.
The GG Booyah coming out from Farto. That way April could come in and very cleanly take that tower. You just can feel the impact of Farto's game plan.
16, 16, 15. Hello?
Gamers, they have families.
Oh man, but the game plan that you can feel from Farto, worth noting that Farto is a pickup. So more often than not, I imagine, are going to find a map mode that works very, very strongly for them and iron that out because they don't have as much time and opportunity to work on game plans like a team like LYRE that has been playing together since last August and planning to move forward into Splatoon 3 together. Farto just simply doesn't have that. Despite that, the impact of having a plan on TC Inkblot is just so incredibly powerful, especially working into a comp that on paper has an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Farto, right, was able to play that map exactly the way they wanted to play it, exactly the way we saw that played in the last set, and they try it here as well. They create enough chaos in their enemy's plat. They make sure that they don't all get completely wiped. They have enough opportunity for the rest of the jumps to come in and, continue to keep up that pressure. And there's just enough time for them to continue charging up those specials, and they're conscious of that as they keep pushing that tower forward. But nonetheless, it's the LYRE counterpick this time around, potentially trying to play a little bit more to that teamwork, to that inherent synergy as they go to Clamblitz on the Reef.
And this is a map that Farto lost on the previous set. And this is also a map mode that I do believe that LYRE won rather handedly earlier in the day. So this is something that they are vibing with in the moment and trying to work to exploit the benefits of their comp against Fartos. Because what does a quad shooter comp do once the basket has been opened? Typically speaking, you throw bombs and you charge for special. It's going to give LYRE such a large amount of time to gather clams. And there are just physically so many clam spawns on this map mode that can really drag out a push.
So we'll see if they'll be able to do that here. 1-1, all tied up in finals of the Splatoon Advanced Circuit Season 5. So here we go. Actually, this time around, we see Ping going over to the Octobrush instead of the Tri-Slosher.
Ooh, with the hammer, which could just be so useful in terms of clearing street. Very quickly, we're going to see those missiles and armor come out as LYRE tries and takes control of mid. Does get the pick on cue, so this could be their favor in the opening engagement.
Other thing we haven't talked about here so far, April over to the 96 Deco instead of a Jet Squelcher this time around. So some funky picks coming out here nonetheless. But right now, it looks like LYRE has plenty of control of mid. Splashdown coming in, going to try to disrupt some of that. But it's just not going to be enough for now. You see this range of the 96 could be playing to the favor here of Farto as they push LYRE away and make sure that they're not able to touch this basket.
Yeah, very good defense from Farto there in terms of maintaining control of their own main and being able to push up and get that control very quickly back. LYRE does have that power clam and they do have that armor and they're working their way towards those missiles as well. Ping going to be pushing up onto that bridge, getting the pick on Jaziel. Not able to dunk here due to that inkjet from Q.
Well done there for Q to find this trade, but now they have to be a little bit careful. Reno actually is just going forward, able to find double. That's the wipeout there on to Farto. There is plenty of opportunity here, but with that power clam expiring, that double is almost going to be meaningless. Now Ping trying to find this, pops this hammer right after making a power clam, and that power clam is going to go down ahead of the map as well. Farto continues to clean up here, and LYRE just cannot quite seem to find a way to get this football to break the barrier.
Yeah, that simply shows how important it is to manage the clam economy in terms of taking space, because there was just such a huge opportunity there, and the force of commitment once that hammer was popped. Despite that, LYRE coming in very, very strong, only one left standing on the side of Farto as that basket is finally opened.
Sleepy trying to come in from the bottom here as well, but there is still plenty of ink in purple underneath this barrier. More clams starting to come in here. Zeal is going to go down in the process, and it looks like Farto might have begun the retake here of this barrier area, but there's still enough chaos happening. Ava able to find one, now throwing in a couple more clams here as well. Able to get this down to the 44-point mark now, and I think that might finally be the end of this push, as it's 3 down for LYRE. Well done. They finally were able to break it. Look at how much time they've both eaten off the clock. Half the game is gone.
Yeah, but Farto having those 3 specials online and now knowing exactly what they're looking for. The funny hitboxes from Farto are just simply doing so much, and look how quickly Farto is burning through those specials, and they don't have the clams. Q getting a pick on those Glugadoolies, going to be maintaining bridge here, but they need more clams in order to be able to push in here. That Booyah Bomb going to be so useful in terms of clearing basket and car, preventing any sort of cheeky fall off from that Flingza roller. Ping jumping out, and here comes that Booyah Bomb. Will they be able to work up with this?
Jess coming in from the side here, might be trying to look for something with this K-Pro. Not able to find it so far. Actually painting the way for a member to go ahead and throw in that power clam. But with nobody else around, it's going to be quick work from LYRE to clean up the 1v1s here. Q, the last one up, but it's going to get taken out all the same. And it's only 1 power clam in the basket for Farto. And this map is in the map, and the clam economy is going to swing right back to LYRE.
Yeah, Eva having formed that power clam, they are the only one, or were the only one holding clams. They have those missiles online. They have that armor. They are going to attempt to push off of this. Zeal pushing up that left tree, going to be painting and creating space as they get that pick on Q. That is huge because of how much damage that Inkjet has been doing. The splashdown from April coming in clutch.
Not able to find that power clam in the basket was that member of LYRE, and now they get cleaned up with Ping going down as well. Farto has the potential here to build up more clams, to build up more of a push. April picking some of these things up, as well as Jess. Looks like both those members have 21 clams on the map, but the next question is, can they be able to find their way back underneath this barrier? Booyah Bomb coming in as Sleepy is backing away to try to pick up some more clams. April now trying to find this approach again, but it's another 2-on situation. LYRE is doing a fantastic job of choking off these points. They're not able to get up that ramp. They're not able to get up that side, back up to the car. And now all of a sudden, LYRE has another opportunity to find a push of their own. They're building a football already, and they'll be looking to try to make an approach here immediately after. And there are only 27 seconds left in this game. Farto is going to have to be on a scramble to try to get back in.
Yeah, and as you say that, LYRE going 3 down as they were attempting to push. Farto needs clams, and they need them now. Q tossing those to Sleepy in order to be able to form a power clam, but that brush, Ping already underneath that basket operating a defense. 2 down on the side of LYRE as Sleepy comes around through that left side. It is Zeal under the basket, 1 down on the side of Farto. They are keeping that basket open. LYRE physically does not have a defense. Farto coming in and going to be able to continue dunking despite that. Q, the last member left standing. Where is the zap? You have to find the zap. Sleepy getting picked on that jump in, and LYRE having secured Game 3 of Grand Finals in a very, very stressful final exchange.
Wow. How tight was that? Thank goodness the Octobrush was there as well. Short range weapon, faster kill time, able to take care of business. But that was so scary, getting it so close. And that's one of the reasons, folks, why trying to play more conservatively earlier could have been better. LYRE was trying to make a push happen. They were trying to scramble to try to get something in, trying to get another power claim and trying to maybe extend their lead, get rid of that penalty. But they don't need to do that. They just need to prevent their opponent from making that push to happen. So they gave up all that map control, they gave up all those clams, and they almost gave up the lead, but they'll take it away nonetheless.
You're pushing in that final minute can just simply be so risky. Number 1, you go in, say you get the power clam, baby clear a little bit of penalty, but now your opponents have a pity clam. Number 2, you go in and you get wiped. Now your opponent has map control and clam control with it. Something I found very, very fascinating about LYRE's change in comp, though, was the switch from the Octobrush, which you mentioned, from the Try to the Octobrush. What I found interesting about that in particular was watching the team play around those 2 players, being Ping and Eva. Simply because the Octobrush has those very, very fast hit rates, right? They're sloshing, they're creating chip, maybe not necessarily landing all of those shots at the same time, but the Flingza, very committal. Once they throw that vertical shot, they have so much end lag and startup lag towards their next shot. And in that time, the brush is able to capitalize on that much more rapidly as opposed to a tri-slosher. I do think that comp change benefited LYRE a lot.
See what happens here. Looks like Ping actually switching back over to the Tri-Slosher onto Splatzone's Wahoo World. This is the Farto counter pick. They're looking to try to come back in this series. LYRE on circuit point here. They have the potential to close this entire few months out.
And here they go. Farto quite possibly going to be the first team in order to cap that zone, and there it is. They're not going to have to deal with any pesky burst bomb rushes this time around. This being their own counter pick, which is worth noting. Farto going to be able to extend their lead here, knowing that they have that Ray towards their advantage in terms of maintaining and clearing that flat.
And now looking to try to extend this is Reno Tuna, who's going in, taking care of that baller. Looks like here, actually, LYRE might go one down, but still able to maintain a lot of the control here. Farto going to have to pop their specials, which might come on back in. And now with Ava going down on that foil, flings a roller, the cap will be going over to Farto. Maybe not for long, though. They've got to be careful. They started turning their back onto the zone, walking away from it, and that allows this opportunity for LYRE to just take it right away.
Yeah, I do think those Glugas are going to be very useful in terms of maintaining and holding glass, right? Which is cutting off one area of entrance for Farto. The Glugas coming in and getting a pick on that Zap, that is huge because that is so much paint quickly taken out. Another pick from Reno, Jess having the force to fall back and rotate towards that right glass. But we can see Eva already there prepped for the defense and now communicating with Ping to flush out Jess.
So LYRE has plenty of control of the map so far, but handful of specials online for Farto. You see Stingray already coming out, Ink Armor, Booyah Bomb all on top of this zone. April just trying to scan the map, but actually not able to find much of anyone. Booyah Bomb comes on top, and Q is there to find the rest of the paint necessary. Ava, though, fantastic play in order to make the adjustment onto that vertical flick. Is going to go down in the process nonetheless, as some of the more aggressive members of Farto are stepping forward. There's Jets, able to find another one here. It's a 3-down situation for LYRE. There's only one up, and Farto's going to be able to take back control of this zone, potentially looking for their first really strong push here.
Yeah, but they have to deal with the fact that Reno is sharking there. Does get the pick on that Jet Squelcher. That Jet was just putting up so much fuss with that Stingray. The missiles coming out from LYRE, but they're very quickly going to find themselves 2 down. Sleepy able to cap and maintain that zone, but just going to trade out with one other member of LYRE. There is a jump in from LYRE. Does April and Sleepy know where they are? Yes, they do. Sleepy getting that pick. Farto clearing their penalty, working their way down that lead. LYRE finding themselves in a very, very dangerous situation, having only that baller in to work with as an entrance special, but going to lose that in this exchange.
Ava has the missiles online, but they're going to have to pop them soon here. 13 ticks the timer left to go. There's a good faster than seconds, folks, with plenty of bombs coming out of Farto to try to prevent the way back in. They're going to lose control here. Will there be an opportunity for them to paint the map? No, 3-down situation. Ava's the last one up. Farto is going to be able to cap the zone once more, and they are going to send us to a game 5 in this possible first grand set.
Oh my gosh, are we heading towards a bracket reset? We very well could, but it's LYRE that now has the counterpick advantage, having won that first game. Given that their comp is so wonk, that is something that they can set themselves up very, very well for, and I'm curious to see what they're going to opt to pick. Given how dicey that Sturgeon's game was, I don't anticipate us heading back to zones because now they just lost on zones Wahoo as well. So perchance, are we going to be seeing some Rainmaker, K-Bot?
I can't imagine you want Rainmaker, right? You probably not when you're working with a
Rainmaker
we're seeing Rainmaker, okay? Why are we going to say it then? Because clearly you're more of an analytical mind than I am.
Okay, I was gonna say that because of how strongly LYRE has been playing on Rainmaker Blackbelly. We saw the benefit of that bucket earlier in the tournament in terms of just the sharking from. Oh gosh, sorry, forgive my brain. The sharking from the bucket. That's really the only way that I can express this. The snowball potential that Rainmaker Blackbelly has. I just see them playing very, very well around it despite April's Ray. I don't know. I just envision it, and the mines from Reno Tuna are just going to be absolutely huge in terms of maintaining control of their own street. And then they also have that Inkjet, which can just create so much forward presence when pushing into Farto Street as well.
But this is what I was afraid of. If you're Farto, quad shooter so fast in some cases, So as long as they're able to start getting a wipe, they might be able to just storm right for the enemy side of the map. But all in the meanwhile, looks like Jess here actually getting backed away as now you see LYRE starting to step on forward. Slowly but surely, those Gluga Dualies and that added range, the foil flings able to push this member back. That timer, though, for Jess already down to 10 seconds because they were backing away so much. They're not going to be able to get this very far here, and it is going to go off in just a moment. Wait.
Wait? Okay.
There it is. That seemed much longer than 6 seconds, but so I don't know what happened there.
Honestly, I think that was a huge clutch up from Joe. Oh my gosh! Okay, that was a huge clutch up from Jess and very, very smart decision making. Oh wait! Oh, sheesh, Farto. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I saw Jess backing up on that right side and I was a little bit nervous. I was like, this sounds familiar. Like, I could just see LYRE taking an opportunity to be able to snowball us. In terms of once you get that repop, once the Rainmaker goes down, you can take Street, you go, you get the repop again, it's KO. Alright? But instead, Farto turning that concept on its head and saying, no, we are going to push through our own half pipe. We are going to work their way up into Street and then get that repop. I just very, very reactionary from Farto there. LYRE not able to rotate back towards their own spawn quickly enough in order to be able to bounce a defense. So we are heading into a bracket reset.
So now, Farto is, well, let me see if I can find this number right. Is 4 sets to 0 versus LYRE. This will be their 5th set. Game totals 10-4 between these two squads. And Farto coming off that last match, things might be looking dangerous here. For LYRE, who is coming off of the top side of the bracket.
It is extremely dangerous and also exhausting, right? You're LYRE, you just duked it out all throughout winner's bracket. You get through winners finals, you're on the grands, you're feeling comfy, you have a little bit of a break, and then you come in and a set that you were expected to win, you take an L against an opponent that you have lost to time and time again. Genuinely, what do you do? You know, you're up
against counterpick.
Exactly, and in that decisive and strong of a fashion, and here we go on Inkblot, a map that we have seen before in this very grand final set. And, you know, you have to deal with that Ray and that Booyah Bomb. It's just very familiar.
Yeah, very familiar here. As now we're starting to get into things, but ping back over to that Octobrush for LYRE this time around. We'll see if that comes into play at all here, as opposed to that Tri-Slosher. Jess immediately throwing that right on top of Ava, trying to get things cleared out of the way here for Farto, as they're looking to take care of more of this control. But actually, that zone gets capped right back here, and it's just mass chaos. Welcome to Inkblot Art Academy.
Yeah, but LYRE now in control. Yes, okay, Farto very, okay, so it is currently LYRE that is in the lead, because they are on the purple side. They are able to clear that penalty in order to be able to tick that down. They are playing substantially better than they were on TC Inkblot. The Ray coming out from April, going to be able to put some pressure onto that zone, but not enough for the remaining members of Farto to come in and capitalize on it. Those missiles going to force Ping, Zeal, and Tuna back. This is dangerous for LYRE here as Farto comes in and gets that cap, but burning through all of their specials to do it.
Burning through all of their specials, potentially vulnerable, but actually they're able to find 2 of LYRE, and they're able to clean up the rest of business here. So well done by Farto. Maybe they have the potential for a hold here, but some specials starting to come online for LYRE. That Ink Armor coming out, Ultra Stamp soon to boot, maybe trying to get one of these members away of Farto, but the approach just isn't going to work out. They're going right into some longer range things, especially Jess there. And now that Crossfire is set up, Farto is able to take care of business. They're able to take care of the lead, forcing these members of LYRE to jump back away. And now we're 35 ticks of the timer left to go. We're back in knockout territory for Farto here, who might be able to take game 1 of this reset and go for 2 in a row.
This crossfire that Farto is setting up is absolutely terrifying. We do see LYRE coming in with the specials, but Ping very quickly going to chuck that hammer in and not get any picks with it. LYRE forced to push in here. They're not neutralizing the zone. There we go. Eva trying to get the pick on April, does fail to do so. April getting that pick as Farto recaps that zone and knocks it out. April firing that ray for a little bit of a light show at the end of the game. GG, go next.
I'm sorry, I gotta pause whatever the heck just happened there with that foil thing flings a vertical flick. I don't know where the ink from that thing went. I was expecting to go right up on top of the zone, maybe it neutralizes the zone, maybe it buys just an ounce more time for LYRE, but it just didn't appear on the spectators. I don't know what happened with that. That is like, in League of Legends, that would be like a player immediately pausing the game because that looked a little bit janky, but nonetheless, Farto able to secure things there, able to just continue to take care of business, continue to take care of the approaches. Perhaps at this point, you see LYRE starting to feel a bit nervous, a bit anxious. They're the ones that still cannot find the set wins over this Farto team, and now they are just one set away from taking it.
Yeah, and the previous set, we did see that the counterpick advantage went to LYRE, right? They won game 1, and in the end, they took it to that game 5, counterpicked Rainmaker Blackbelly, and then got absolutely clapped within the first minute of the game. And here we are in this bracket reset where LYRE's feeling a little bit hot. They weren't expecting to lose that last set, and Farto comes in and takes game 1 on a winning streak straight out of losers bracket. That is such a cognitive and mental shift, and now LYRE going to be taking us to Splat Zone Sturgeon, which was just so incredibly dicey last set.
Okay, but now LYRE is trying to find the reset. They're realizing that whatever they're doing right now, it's not working. Ping is out. Geo is coming in. So we're not going to see Tri-Slashers and Octobrushes anymore. Skep, what do you think we're going to see here?
Flash and K-Shot. They are rotating in to have a much more shooter-heavy comp. I do know that Geo plays Splash and K-Shot. So in terms of countering Farto's very fast-paced, forward-facing, crossfire-generating speed comp, you having that shooter in could be the momentum shift that LYRE needs, especially how strongly, unfortunately, that Ping was shut down on that brush last game. And the brush was something that was benefiting them. So for the brush to be shut down that hard, it is time to swap out.
It's time to swap out. These weapons just cannot quite seem to do much of anything, especially with just switching over to that K-Pro, right? Now you've got two members with a lot more range on Farto compared to that Octobrush when it can reasonably do anything, or compared to that Tri-Slasher. So likely the right call here. It's especially going to be interesting to see if that Splash comes out as well. I imagine that a bomb launcher could be incredibly useful for just trying to take more turf, because at the end of the day, that's one of the things that LYRE is struggling with here the most. They are struggling with taking care of most of the map. They can't paint their own plat on Inkblot tower control. They can't take care of multiple areas of the map in mid in the last game that we just saw. They're struggling to find some of these things, and I think potentially that bomb launcher could come in clutch for them, especially on a map here like Sturgeon.
Yes, Sturgeon with what I would describe as an ABC stage. And by that, I mean you have the zone, and then your next, in terms of if you're pushing forward like a wave, you have that next segment being pit, all of that relatively contained and visible all in front of you, and then pushing forward further, you have street and spawn. So in terms of clearing that, imagine working out a spawn. You're on your own spinner, you pop bomb rush, you have A, you have zone, you take the time to farm another one, you push up with that bomb rush, you have B, and then you have all that turf. And then finally, when situating for a KO lockout, you can pop that bomb rush on spools, you can pop it in street, you can pop it in window, and then clear all of that space at one time, and then enforce commitment
from
a quad shooter comp. There it is.
There it is. Okay, we didn't just waste 2 minutes of our time talking about a bomb rush and how useful it can be. We would never. That would never happen. But all right, heading into this one now. Again, LYRE trying to change up their strats, trying to change up what exactly is going on. But farto very much trying to keep things the same. They're building up their specials. They're charging forward. They're taking multiple areas of the map at the same time. But they're going to go 2 down in the process. Actually, now that goes back the other way. Looks like 2v2 around the map. But LYRE, nonetheless, is going to be able to come up with this zone, pushing these members of farto back to start things off.
Yeah, LYRE having control of that zone and now able to pull lead. We do see that farto has that Booyah Bomb ready to go, but LYRE having that armor and absolutely barreling towards that suction bomb rush. And here it goes, special v special. The missiles coming out from farto going to force the members of LYRE to dance a little bit and cap at the zone right from underneath them. Just trying to push the remaining members of LYRE, getting a pick on the zap. That is huge for them. LYRE having no choice but to play around spawn, and hopefully Geo is warmed up.
Hopefully they are. Almost might have gone down to that bomb there, but nonetheless, able to take care of that. Now just waiting for their time to strike. Not many specials on LYRE right now for LYRE, which is one of the reasons they're very hesitant to move forward, but they have to. Ink Armor, 10 missiles coming out now as finally the trigger is pulled. Will they be able to find their way back into the zone? Now on this side, with this baller looking to try to push back into the zone, is going to get shredded though, and now has to try to dodge, roll away. 2-down situation either side of the map. It's Ava and Zeal. Oh no, not able to find their way to the zone and falling down below. Now farto, 25 ticks the timer left to go here before they knock it out.
Ooh, but 2 down on the side of farto as LYRE comes in strong. It is just Jess on that left side. Very quickly surrounded from crossfire from LYRE. There it is, forced to pick. LYRE holding on to that zone and working their way towards those specials. They almost have suction bomb rush. They have that armor. They are about to clear that penalty, but the Glugas go down as that armor comes out.
Enough suction bombs to the map to make it look like a bomb launcher, but in fact, folks, it was not. LYRE able to take care of business there. But now, will farto be able to find their way back in? 10 missiles coming out again after they've already gone through the entire special rotation here. And it doesn't look like they're able to find their way in. Now, starting to see this aggressive presence here from Geo, trying to find their way over to April. 2 down, though. Either team is now Geo forced to rotate back towards on top of this zone, try to win this firefight here. Able to find that one onto Jess. That was a tricky one to pull off. But now, LYRE, now without a penalty, might have the opportunity to take back the lead right here, right now, and it looks like they will. Very few specials online right now for farto, as they might have to try to find a way back in here, but with Geo stepping too far forward, it's going to be a 2-down situation for LYRE. Now making a 3-down situation with that burst bomb, able to take care of business. Ink Armor comes out just for a little bit of security as farto is able to find the cap.
They have pulled lead. They have applied penalty. They have bought themselves so much time, and farto is already burning through those specials, burning through that Ray. Are they going to be able to work their specials up quickly enough in order to be able to break back in that zone? We see 3 members of LYRE up on that right side, and here it goes. farto burning through all of the specials that they are desperately going to need on that defense. Zeal coming in through Spinner. We do see that Geo has that suction bomb rush. The zone forced into neutral. Unfortunately, the pick on the zap is going to come in. farto using that Booyah Bomb in order to be able to maintain that zone, but we are seeing ourselves in a 2v3 situation as farto is going to be able to clear that penalty, and Geo getting picked. That is so much paint gone as farto is able to maintain this zone temporarily. 2 members of LYRE up on that right side. The zone just going back and forth. LYRE are finding themselves in a situation where they have lost lead and have 2 seconds in order to be able to cap, but not able to do it. The coordination from farto just clicking in around each other on LYRE's counterpick, barely in the final minute of the game, just enough to be able to squeak by that lead.
And now it's farto on season point here in the Splatoon Advanced Circuit. They have fought and crawled their way back through this bracket in order to try to take this one away from these teams that we were expecting to come out on top. And look, again, farto on paper has an incredibly good record against a lot of these teams, but with an early loss earlier today to the Cascade Duck Crew, they had to find their way and they had to find their fights in order to get back into this one. And now they have the possibility to be able to do so. But we're heading back to a map that we saw earlier from LYRE. It's Glamblitz on the Reef.
Right? Okay, so here's the sitch. Your name is farto. You're a team of 4 people, 5 people, right? Okay. So you, the only team that has managed to defeat you the entire season, you destroy, lovingly, I'm sorry guys, in a loser's finals game and work your way back up into winners finals. The adrenaline surge that you're going to be feeling from that is going to have such a significant impact on your gameplay. And then in grand finals, you're up against a team that you have beaten time and time again in this season. What does that do to a player's psychology in terms of how they're going to be taking risks, how they're going to be taking engagements, and the level of confidence that that's going to be able to provide?
Look at this, though. Farto is the one making adjustments here on this map because they know that they might be at a little bit of a disadvantage. April going to the mini. More pain output, more missiles. Overall, might be able to come in clutch here as long as they can find the picks and the burst bomb to provide that extra chip damage that we saw was so impactful for a lot of the picks in the last game. It's a 2-down situation already for LYRE, and Farto has complete control of mid. They might be looking to try to make a push of their own here.
Yeah, Q having those 9 power clams, probably going to be tossed one from a teammate. There it is as they work their way towards the basket. Are they going to be able to dunk? LYRE providing a substantial defense in terms of physically keeping paint on the ground as Farto tries to work their way up towards the basket. Going to go 2 down in the process to Q's Inkjet as Farto manages to break that basket. They are out of clams, however. They get the pick on Eva underneath that basket. One more clam in order to stall. Jess has control of this car, going to trade out with Geo. Just one member of LYRE left standing. Will they be able to keep this basket open?
Not looking like, oh, wait a minute, there's someone around able to take care of that. Now Q might have bought enough time for Sleepy to try to come in with a power clam. No, is going to be traded out. You heard the power clam noise happen. And that barrier will go back up. Farto getting dangerously close to getting even more points on the board, but LYRE able to lock things up. Now it's LYRE that has to be the ones to try to find their way back into this map, back into this game, back into the clam economy, and they have indeed done that. There's one power clam on the map for them and plenty more that could potentially follow it up, but they still have to find their way underneath this barrier. Baller, Ink Armor, 10 missiles all coming out to find their way underneath. Not much map control in the area, but there's just enough for enough mobility here with some of these weapons as Gino was underneath. And there was that other member that was able to come in from the car side. Now down to 26. They're continuing to find the way to throw more clams in as it looks like Farto might be scrambling a little bit. More are coming in. Ava trying to now go underneath the barrier. Is going to get swarmed by 3 of the members, and it's a 2-down situation for LYRE. They're not going to be able to find the knockout here, but a fantastic 80-point push for LYRE is going to get them most of the way through this game.
What an opening gambit from LYRE. Not out for the count yet. Still showing that they have the heart to take this set. Farto pushed up all the way underneath that basket, but going down, losing Q in the process. It is a 3v3 situation with April having those missiles ready to go. Jess and April going to find themselves in a sticky situation between those missiles and that chip from the K-shot. 1 down on the side of Farto means that LYRE is going to be able to maintain control of this bridge here, but Jess getting a very cheeky pick on that zap. Both teams now down their armor players as they scrap for control of bridge.
Now 20 clams to the name of Farto here. They're looking to try to find their way back in here, and now one going down. Ava is going to go down to that pick of Jess, and that pity clam, by the way, is still sitting underneath this barrier. There are plenty of clams on the map for Farto if they play their cards correctly. Now Gino going down. Looks like there might be an opportunity for Farto to push on 4. They have to find a way to get this paint in the area, but there's not many specials to be able to do that. Only the 10 missiles are up right now, but Ava is there to put a stop to some of this. Zeal are going to try to throw themselves forward to take care of that as well, but now those 2 power clams are going to find their way into the basket. Just a little bit more follow-up needs to happen, and someone's going to rotate back for the pity clam. April is there to try to provide this opportunity for the jump, but it's not going to happen. There's another one. No, that football doesn't make it in time. The barrier goes back up. That could have been the lead, but it wasn't that time around, and Farto will have to try to regroup and try to prevent LYRE from getting more points on the board.
Is LYRE going to choose to play this safely? The last set that they did push in, they pushed in a little aggressively and went 4 down in the process. Farto nearly getting a dunk and nearly a lead swap in the final moments of the game in overtime. Is LYRE going to opt for the safer approach? They're trying to maintain control of bridge, but Q getting a pick on the dualies. We do see the members of LYRE getting the pick on Q and some very, very nice crossfire. They only have to hold this lead for a minute. They have the special advantage. They have man advantage. LYRE sitting pretty.
Sitting pretty for now, but I've seen crazier things happen. LYRE now making for a push of their own. No, that football didn't go in. It was so close. They just weren't able to do that. Actually, they might be glad that football didn't go in, frankly, and force them to commit even more to it. But now, 35 seconds left to go here for farto to try to find some more clams on the map. They don't have clams on the map right now. LYRE's been doing a fantastic job in the background of trying to control this as much as they possibly can. A football is charged up. Ava has 9 clams of their own here and has to make sure that they're not going to give them away to farto, who is just trying to look all over the map for these clams, but cannot come up with any. But now, potentially there's an opportunity, 2-down situation for farto here, as there might be a way for LYRE to come back into this one. It's going to be close.
Only have that power clam once they break basket. Well, now they have 3. They need to be able to sustain this. The Booyah Bomb comes out a little early. April getting that dunk, but is there anyone near basket? Sleepy coming around behind. Are they going to be able to lead here? Is LYRE going to be able to see this coming in time? No! Sleepy coming around from car. Just in time to pull a lead. Getting the job done as quickly as squidly possible. Taking grand finals. Oh my gosh, I am breathless.
Stealing that set away from, or that game away from LYRE. farto crawling back, continuing to assert their dominance over this team, and they will be your Splatoon Advanced Circuit Season 5 champions. The nerves for LYRE, you could tell, were there. That entire second set. And I think it is ultimately what came back to bite them there at the very end. They just didn't think to check the backside. They didn't think to check that approach around the corner by car. And it's going to be what haunts them today.
Sleepy with the support, Giga Brain sneaking around through car while the members of LYRE looked forward, trying to desperately maintain their basket in their street, and right was what was right in front of them. And just the decision in those final seconds to say, I'm going to dunk as many clams as I possibly can in this time and at least stall this basket. LYRE not reacting quickly enough in order to be able to shut that down. Fantastic play from farto there. A fantastic push from LYRE. You can't deny that 80-point push wasn't huge, but just in the end, I would like to quote someone, that Splatoon is about the best play that you make over the course of the game, not necessarily the summation of plays.
That's my line.
I know, and that's why I said I was going to quote someone.
No. You're quoting me quoting Hitzel. Okay, so it's not even like you're quoting me.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I rephrased it. I made it my own. Is that plagiarized?
Anyway, hats off to, of course, farto for winning today. Hats off to LYRE for putting up such a valiant effort over the course of this entire tournament. I mean, LYRE's results over the course of this were nothing to scoff at either, right? farto was really one of their largest weaknesses the entire season, and ultimately it's continued to be a weakness there down to the final fights here. So congratulations to farto. Of course, congratulations to all of the SAC teams. I imagine that playing in a league like this, you can probably feel yourselves improving. You can feel yourselves taking care of things week after week and able to practice with a consistent roster. So hats off to everybody for playing, whether you qualified today or whether you were just playing and trying to improve along the way yourselves. It was fantastic to see here at the end of Splatoon 2's lifespan.
It really was, and I do want to say to LYRE going home with second place, I actively enjoyed watching them play, especially with those off-meta and such unique comps, and showing that those comps could work and playing those weapons to the best of their ability and the best that those weapons could be played. So just fantastic job to them, and just, oh man, farto. Last night I spoke to farto and they said, oh, so you're the poor soul that has to say our name on stream. Well, farto, I'm a proud soul that gets to say that you won Splatoon Advanced Circuit Season 5. Congratulations.
Well, that'll do it from us here today. Of course, folks, don't go anywhere because there is plenty more competitive Splatoon content coming your way on this very Twitch channel. Of course, I imagine that the folks with the Splatoon Advanced Circuit will be working on preparations for Season 6 at some point or another. But plenty more to come in the interim until then. Of course, Riptide starts off next weekend, starting with the Splatoon 3 launch tournament, and then with the Splatoon 2, final LAN for all of the marbles. It'll be a fantastic weekend. That is this weekend, nearly Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There will be Splatoon content streamed on this channel. So do make sure you're tuning in. And then, of course, plenty more coming in with SOS on Wednesday nights, with Low Ink on the third weekend of every month, continuing into Splatoon 3. IPL will be your home as we march into this new unfound territory.
Splatoon 3. 6 days, and you can find it all here. And importantly, I look forward to seeing all of the new competitors, some of which might be watching this right now, that are either coming out of retirement or simply engaging with the competitive scene for the first time. We look forward to seeing you here in your very own grand finals. And thank you all for tuning out. Stay fresh.